Hey, it's Redeye Stream number 184. Slate goes after Discord, because, you know, everybody in Discord is a bunch of filthy racists. Sorry I'm late, everybody. I had a toothache. I didn't feel too good this morning, so I got a slow start on the day. I'm starting to feel better now, though. How are you doing, Temma?
I'm hanging in there.
And memes of destruction. Our local fucking centrists. How are you?
Just another day in paradise.
All right, so you had just said that you were in Baked Alaska's server. So Adult Right is kind of hanging out on Discord still. But Discord's a free service, of course they are, and it's like the old school chat rooms from AOL. That's what I like about it.
Yeah,
I mean, you get a lot of random people on Discord, and it's a good way to connect with viewers if you do YouTube, and a good way to connect with other YouTubers. That way you can network and grow your channel and grow your audience. So I really don't want Discord to go under. You know what I mean? And that kind of sounds like what Slate's trying to do with this hit piece. You want to tell us a little bit about it, Temma?
but I got a little upset and stopped reading. There's a lot of may and possibly. Now, the article opens with somebody saying there's over 150 million people, and in the course of an afternoon, I found and joined more than 20 communities on the platform that were directly about Nazism or white supremacy, or revealed sharing anti-Semitic and racist memes and imagery. So they went on to 20 discords and they saw shit posting and assumed that every bit of shit posting they saw was a Nazi.
Yeah, and everybody shit posts. I mean, come on, memes will fucking share Jewish fucking shit, and he's a Jew.
Yeah,
what I do?
You're on Discord.
Oh, okay.
It's
Well, here's the thing about that. I'll be straight up. Yeah, I was on Bake's Discord back in the day, probably, I don't know, towards the beginning of the year. I shot the shit with him a little bit. Like, I mean, I had some concern. He was doing some stuff and things that probably weren't the best for his positivity in his life. So I kind of wished him well as one human being to another. And then at one point, while on the server, they said something that I believe was not the best sounding for certain Jewish folks. And I'm like, well, you know, hey, you go your way, I'll go Yahweh. And what is a half Jew, part Native American, part English, Scottish, Irish, German, Russian to do? I think they told me to go kill myself or something. But I'm like, well, your name does have a lot of just random Russian symbols and this and that. And you probably need to, like, get a few more circles in your daily life and have some fun. So, and then eventually it wasn't there anymore, or I got kicked off.
I was probably not there anymore, more than likely. That seems to be
And they specifically mentioned the Charlottesville thing in that article, do they not?
Well, I mean, is that any different than when I was on Boston Free Speech's Discord, just kind of hanging out with them? They were just organizing an event, and they probably got a bunch of popularity, and like, ooh, folks like us. Oh, folks will pay attention to some of this stuff, and then eventually it went horribly wrong. And Heather Heyer lost her life.
Well,
okay, but yes, they do mention how the first Unite the Right in Charlottesville was planned through Discord, because it's a really easy way to do it. You can create a channel for times, you can create a channel for events, you can create a channel for lodgings. It's built, predisposed, ready for you to do event planning real time.
I thought it was built for rating.
Well, video games, sure, you can do video game rating with it, or server rating, sure, but it also gives you the ability to construct stuff, like in a rational fashion, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So it makes sense. It makes sense that they would use it, especially since it's a free service that allows them to communicate verbally while they're planning stuff. Most people would want that. It's a very appealing service. Saying that, oh, we need to go in and start censoring everybody on Discord because there might be a handful of people saying words we don't like, planning to do a rally with those words we don't like. This is bullshit. You can't tell people they aren't allowed to talk because there was a car accident at a rally. And that death is not on the hands of the alt-right planning the event. It's on the hands of the police for not doing their fucking job.
There were many contributing factors, but I mean,
one of the
how is that different than yelling?
Antifa. Wait a minute, though. One of the contributing factors was an Antifa member fucking pulling a gun on the guy. That actually came out. That happened. That did? Yeah, the dude fucking admitted it. I've seen the YouTube video of him on camera at a fucking university admitting it. And then he yells, someone call the fucking campus cops. They're recording me. Like a little fucking pussy. But you can pull a gun on somebody.
Was he telling the truth?
Hey, if you're going to admit to a crime like that, then I don't care if it's the truth or not. You're a dumbass for admitting it.
Okay, no. Did he have a firearm? Because other folks did have firearms down at Charlottesville as well. But there's a difference between possessing and pulling it and aiming at somebody.
Yeah,
he said that he aimed it at the car. He's like, yeah, I saw that guy. He pulled up at the stop sign next to us, and I fucking pulled my gun, and he gunned it and got out of there. Yeah, that's probably when he turned down that fucking alley and hit the girl, huh? Probably right then. You fucking asshole. Like, okay, no, the blood's on that guy's hands. Oh, we're talking about Charlottesville.
We're saying how Discord. No, it's Discord. We're talking about Discord, and I guess there was an article written about it.
And MC, if you're there, you can unmute, man. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing okay. I'm just listening at the moment. If I have something to add, I will.
But yeah, I don't think it's almost like they're attacking everything that an independent creator uses. Oh, you guys use Discord to fucking organize your YouTube fucking streams and to hang out with your viewers and shit. Well, better get rid of that. How about we start banning people from YouTube too?
That's not what the article was about.
It's about banning.
Isn't the article just pointing it out?
It's also on YouTube, is it not?
No, it's the article is pointing out how much like Slack or the same problems they're going after it like they did with Slack is what they're doing. Okay, so if there's a way for you to communicate where somebody can't monitor it and control what you say, they are going to shut it down. They are looking to try to shut down Discord. This is just like that Wall Street hit piece on PewDiePie.
But it isn't one of the big things that we're looking at here is just, it's like Aiden said last night on Moonifest Destiny. She's like, yeah, the internet, if anything, it keeps better track of folks. Like if you actually in IRL and stuff like that, you don't, maybe somebody has a camera or something, but dude, everything's being logged on the internet. I mean, like post-Patriot Act, I mean, and more recent legislation, it says that in the terms of service for your ISP, that we will comply with all federal and local regulations.
Not only that, but you can actually pull up, like there's a thing in Discord where you can pull up everything that's ever been said in there. It logs everything. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, what? Are Pepe memes fucking the worst thing in the world? How about they go after something else?
Well, Mr. Spencer kind of...
Of course they are. It's racist, don't you know? Oh, don't you dare agree with me, memes. You know I'm just fucking around.
Hey. I mean, Pepe's all right and everything, but I'm more of a fan of Glenn.
Beck?
What? No. He was entertaining for a little while, and yeah, I stole some of his clips, but no, Glenn, Frog from Chrono Trigger. The Masamune.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I don't either.
What I'm saying is we need to reforge the Maza meme.
Well, MC, what do you think? Are they just is the left just gonna go after everything that is even a tiny bit edgy? I mean, they're already trying to kill memes in the EU, right?
They're trying to regain control of the media. I mean, you got to understand that. They are trying to regain enough control to where they can control the narrative again. And they won't stop until they get that control.
Yeah, but the whole United States, like, don't we still have the First Amendment?
You just tried to watch them. They're now sitting there going, we need to change that because how dare people speak?
That doesn't sound right.
What do you mean that doesn't sound right? It sounds exactly what the left was doing. What do you think the whole PC culture is based on? Memes?
Memes do...
Anger at one another?
No. It's based on silencing anything and any kind of criticism they don't like.
Oh, well, that's a political tactic.
Yes. And their way of doing it is silencing debate and silencing their critics. It is authoritarianism. And for the longest time, they were able to get away with it without anybody even realizing it because they had total control of the media. The media wouldn't let other people speak.
Oh,
they would only allow certain aspects to actually come to the fore. And this is why you end up with a lot of these, what I would call cut conservatives, because people weren't even allowed to listen to real conservatives. They would only allow a few people that would once in a while make sense, but really for the most part, they were more or less harmless.
You just listen to Fox News Radio.
Got fired from Google because he
James Damore
was stating fat. Yeah.
Yeah, Damore.
Well, yeah, it's getting ridiculous. You know, the deplatforming of content creators from YouTube is ridiculous, and now they're trying to kill Discord, which was started as a gaming fucking chat, right? That's pretty much what it was started for, was gaming and shit.
Yeah, you're not allowed to state facts anymore, Dodge. Don't do that.
And the alt-right will find somewhere else to hang out. They'll hang out on some obscure fucking 4chan page if you fucking kick them out of Discord. Just let them fucking have their small little platform to talk on, and everybody else will shout them down. It's not that hard to figure out.
No, but the problem is like, if you're going to start silencing folks, and we live in the world where, like, all of a sudden you're basically starting to kind of oppress people and stuff in a way, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, you're taking away my speech, I'm such a victim over here and over there, and then it just plays into the cycle again and again. And as soon as folks feel like they're becoming an underdog, everyone's like, oh, well, maybe not everyone, but many people like, oh, that sucks, I wouldn't want that to happen to me. And I don't necessarily completely hate certain folks, whether you call it the alt-right or a more libertarian-minded folks or whatever. Then all of a sudden the other side's going to be like, well, most of my interactions are highly negative with these folks, and they're sending these 1488 memes at me, so I'm just going to call all these folks a Nazi.
Yeah, but most of it comes from the internet. It's the internet. Everybody is an asshole from time to time.
Haven't you ever seen that? Sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, I was going to say, well, it's kind of retarded that they're doing this at all. Because, oh, they're just going to go to another platform. What they don't realize is that half of the conservative libertarian party has now been thrown into the alt-right pile. So if we make a joke that has a word in it that they don't like, we are going to get thrown into the alt-right pile. That means... No, it's already happening. Don't you do that, MC? No, it is already happening, and it's.
I think he's agreeing with you.
You're not. I'm not disagreeing with you, but I'm trying to expand this. They did that a long time ago, and it isn't half of them. They look at that way on all of you, not just half.
Well, I'm just saying, already. So if they're coming in and saying, oh, these offending memes are the problem because they made Nazi jokes, what the fuck else are they going to go after? Think about this. This is just the tip of the iceberg. If Discord fucking kowtows to this, there's not going to be anywhere to have a candid conversation left. There's going to be no way to have a conversation. We aren't even going to be able to set up streams with each other anymore.
Well, I mean, you just look at what was going on with, what was it, all of Sargon and Mr. Carrier over there. I started listening. I didn't even listen to the thing before, and I'm watching Dr. Winters and Kevin Logan. They're kind of dissecting it. And for literally like 15 seconds, you just hear Sargon say, shut up, shut up, shut up. And I'm like, what the hell? Are we at duck season, wabbit season, duck season, wabbit season? Really? Hey, as the prominent velociraptor of our age, Stefan Molyneux would say, shut up is not an argument.
But that's all we're getting.
No, shut up is absolutely not an argument. That's just, I don't want to hear you talk. I'm done. Fuck you. And no, fuck that noise. That's bullshit. At least have a conversation.
Hey, Seth, shut up. No kidding.
Fuck you.
But isn't that kind of the problem we're having anyway, though? Because that's kind of happening all over the place at this point, even in like interpersonal relationships on the internet. Everybody's just shutting up and going along to get along because any interaction on the internet now seems to be going out of proportion. Apoplexia seems to be the new black.
Yeah, absolutely. You see people going at each other's throats all the time. And I'm looking at the chat here. Joshua says Twitch is also deplatforming people.
Yeah.
And he follows that up with time to go back to using smoke signals.
Well, that's going to be all we're left with. It's going to be snail mail soon. They're going to kick everybody who's right-leaning, who makes even the slightest offensive comment off the air. They're going to kick us out of everything.
How far have we gotten?
Weren't you saying something similar along those lines this morning, MC, in your stream about there barely being anyone who can... Oh, shit. Sorry. Memory is crap today.
Disagree or have a different point?
Well, that's the whole point. Is they don't want anybody to disagree with them. This is what I've been trying to point out, and of course I do it with a lot of heat in my little rants because, well, I enjoy doing that. But this is what's been happening for the longest time, and what people haven't noticed or hadn't been noticing is when the left says they want dialogue, they don't want dialogue. What they really want is you to shut up and be told what to do and not come back at all.
Yeah, they want you silenced.
Exactly. They want your acquiescence. Okay, they want you to agree with them.
What if you're disinclined to acquiesce to their request?
Then they will find a way to shut you up or get rid of you.
This is what they've always
done.
Yes, and that sounds lazy.
What do you mean it sounds lazy?
It doesn't matter if it sounds lazy, it's effective.
It is effective.
Well, it has been effective, but I mean, it's not as effective anymore, is it?
It's not as effective anymore. So what they're trying to do is gain that back. And so what they've done is that they've looked and said, well, why isn't our total control of the media effective anymore? Because of the alternative media rise. So we have got to start putting limits on the alternative media, all right, to regain control of the narrative, to regain control of all this. And so they're doing whatever they can to take control of the alternative media so that it becomes a place that only their side basically controls. And they'll leave a couple of quote unquote conservatives, but it'll be the conservatives that are either one, way out there that nobody listens to, all right, or two, the ones that can't articulate correctly or broadly the entire scope of the quote unquote conservative movement. And that's what I'm referring to. I'm not talking about the alt-right, the way we think of the alt-right, all right? But you've got to understand how they look at the alt-right. The alt-right is anybody that does not abide the liberal dogma. If you don't abide by it, you're on the alt-right.
Exactly. That's what I was trying to say.
If you're gonna talk about it like that, then everybody's the alt-right. Everybody in this chat, with the exception of memes, is an alt-righter.
No, I fall into the same boat. I went to the Patriots Day rally.
Yeah, no, we are all alt-righters according to people that are creating this narrative. That's the terrifying part of this.
Even though I'm a fucking filthy centrist that actually likes to throw rocks at both sides of the aisle from my fence sitting. And goddamn right. But MC, I am much more right-leaning than I am left.
Well, it depends on the topic, dude. My first year, Politics 101, there was a nice older Greek gentleman. He talked to one of the local radio stations, and he asked us a series of 5 different questions. He's like, all right, write down how you feel about these topics. And then at the end, he's like, so who answered this on this, or this on this? And he went through the different points. He's like, how many folks here had all of one more liberal side or all of one more the conservative side? Not a single person raised their hand. And he just maybe I was inoculated to this early. And it's just yeah, folks feel differently on different issues.
Well, yeah, and once again, I'm reading the chat. Jacob says, at Mad Dodge Productions, it will reach a point that talk is no longer an option. And again, that's coming sooner than any of us think. They already have decided to stop talking with the other side. I think he has a very good point. But then again, it's devolved from talking to just shouting at each other, right?
Well, when was it not? I mean, show me a time that politics has been idyllic. I want people to show me this time, because I can't think of a time in my life where politics has been idyllic ever. There have always been people arguing. The fact that Americans aren't out there in each other's faces screaming at each other and hitting each other with shoes doesn't mean that we haven't always fought and argued about this stuff.
Well,
we're human beings. We're imperfect creatures.
Timma, you're around my age. You remember, and MC is too, and MADDS. All right, you remember back in the day when politics and religion was just not a thing that we really talked about because people would get pissed.
Yeah, we used to keep them separate. We did. We used to try to keep them separate, and we don't anymore. And that's our failing as a nation. Yes, I agree.
I don't think that's a failing. I think it's good that we're actually debating politics all the time now, especially in the YouTube sphere, at least. It's just we got to stop shouting at each other and actually sit back and fucking hear what each other is saying.
Mad Dodge, aren't you the same gentleman that was debating a woman's right to choose at like an all-female bowling game?
There's no more conversation.
It was karaoke, and it was ladies' night at the bar, and yeah, I was debating with like 10 different chicks abortion at the bar.
How are you going to have a conversation, okay, when the other side won't ever stop shouting? You guys, you guys got to understand that. When I say you guys, I mean the audience has to understand what I mean by the left. Okay, I'm not joking when I say they don't want to hear what you have to say. Steve Shives is a prime example of what you're dealing with. Steve Shives would have no problem looking you in the eye and saying, you don't have the right to speak, shut up, and he would sit up there and use force to ensure that it would happen. That's who the left actually is. This idea that there's a lot of people on the left, like Tim Pool, there's not. There's always an outlier like that, but the vast majority of the Tim Pools out there don't exist on the left.
But MC, that was Sargon's argument with Richard Carrier. He said, he's like, well, 95% of social justice warriors are the more extreme. Yeah, maybe you're part of like the quote unquote the token small percentage, dude. I'm just hearing the same argument on both quote unquote whatever side you want to say it is.
Well, what you say that's on one side, bullcrap. You can go to the right, real conservatives on the right, and you'll find us all over the place willing to debate these issues. You won't see them shying away. They're not blocking leftists. All right, unless they're a huge YouTuber or a huge presence, such as like James Wood, who has literally millions of followers, and he blocks people here and there that really get to it. All right, because they don't want to have an argument. They want to just throw ad-homs at him. Right, but the vast majority of the people, he has his Twitter open to talk to everybody, just like I do, like everybody, just like all the vast majority of us. But you don't have that, okay? On the left, the vast majority of the left does the Steve Jobs thing, which is I've got a mass block area. I can find leftists left and right that I've never talked to.
Steve Jobs runs the iPhone. And full disclosure, Mr. Shives does have me blocked.
Oh yeah, I discovered I'm finally blocked by Steve Shives. Apparently, I followed the right person to be blocked.
And I'm not trying to beat up Steve Shives per se. I'm just using him as an example of this because it's a far broader than anyone wants to talk about. They want to live in their freaking internet bubble. Look, the rant I did today, right? The reason I did my real rant today had to do with Hillary Clinton, not for what she said, because what she said was, yes, it is despicable. Yes, it's typical of her and the rest of them. The problem is that there was literally, and there is literally, no one in Congress, no Democrat currently sitting as their leadership, right, that has decried this, that has come out and said, that is wrong for her to do that. Not one. None of them.
I thought Joe Manchin said that.
Joe Manchin, if he said that, I missed it. Okay, because this crap from them, all right, is not decried. It isn't. This is their standard tactic. And even Tim Pool, he pulls his punches too on the left. He talks about you keep punching the left. No, he doesn't. He freaking, just pats them on the head. Really, there should be a better way to do this. But he won't decry these tactics. The only thing he's decrying lately isn't the actual tactic itself. What he's decrying is that it's not effective anymore. Hey, Seth, you got your camera going.
Thanks.
It's all right. He's got a great mustache.
Well, yeah, I don't know. Tim Pool, he does kind of go after the left a little bit lately, but you have a point there. He mainly is mad about the tactics no longer work and they're backfiring on everybody.
No, he goes after the left a fair bit because he tends to say he's more of, a social liberal or something like that. But it wasn't that the same thing that kind of Sargon said at the beginning. He's like, I'm a member of the left, that's why I'm going after them. If you were going after them, wouldn't you try to I don't know, if these are your quote unquote friends, be more affable rather than just being like, what have you done or something? And with all due respect to MC, the overzealous use of caps may be the reason you were put in timeout on occasion on Twitter.
Didn't Tim Pool, wasn't there a bet between him and Sargon to go to Sweden and check out the no-go zones? And he went and was like, oh, well, maybe Sargon wasn't wrong. Am I wrong on that? I don't know.
I'm not sure. I don't remember that.
I don't remember if there was a bet, but he did believe that there were no-go zones in Sweden, and Tim Pool did go over there and had to admit that, yes, there's no-go zones. Tim Pool did come out and he said it, but he did go over there with the belief that they didn't exist, that they were being exaggerated, that all of this was being hidden.
I thought he said that they weren't as bad as some folks were making them out to be, or at least Mr. Watson.
Yes, I believe that's how it went. But you know what? Paul Joseph Watson, I'm sorry to interrupt you guys. Paul Joseph Watson pissed me the fuck off today. His tattoo.
He went after tattoos. Yeah.
Tattoos are for idiots. You know what, man? There are stupid people that have stupid fucking tattoos. But you cannot lump everybody up into one monolith.
Did you watch the video?
Yes, I did.
You know what? I'm going to jump on you there. I have a tattoo that my brother drew before he died. It's got the year that he was born and the year that he died.
Awesome.
He personally drew the tattoo, and then my cousin, who is a tattoo artist, tattooed it on me. It looks identical to what my brother drew. There are no deviations. I stand by that tattoo, and I am proud to have it on me because it is a representation of my baby brother.
I don't think that tattoos are all generic and you're an idiot because you have it. I think there are a lot of idiots that have tattoos.
Well, I don't know. I don't like needles, so I don't have any tattoos. But my wife does.
To each their own. In the chat, Jacob says, let me clear up what's predictably all that this current discussion will be. Yes, the left is being irrational and not willing to debate. They want people dead. Neither do they give a damn about their arguments being illogical. All right, that's been discussed to death already. We can keep recycling this discussion over and over, but it'll just lead back to the left is too far out there. Time to move on and discuss what can be done, but not on this broken playing field.
I agree with Jacob. We should head towards Asgardia.
And memes. You mention that fucking alien playground again, and I swear to God, I will ban you.
From
everything. She's going to deplatform you.
Oh! I didn't know you worked for Silicon Valley. Because that's what I've been hearing.
You're going to the Shadow Realm, bud. She's made a deal with Peanut.
Oh, I like showers.
Oh, MC, I'll ban you too.
What? No, MC works out.
All right. Well, we can move forward a little bit. The only other story I have personally is Nikki Haley's leaving the UN. She has a 60% approval rating. She even told President Trump that she will not challenge him in 2020. She wants to leave politics for a little bit, and then she might make a 2024 run. I happen to hate that bitch. She wants to ban Confederate statues, rip them down, and erase history. I don't fucking like her. But I did kind of like her in the UN because she kind of told the UN to go fuck themselves. What do you think about this, MC? Or do you think she'll go back on her word and actually run in 2020?
No, she's not going to run in 2020. Why would she? She probably does want to sit up there and take a break. She can become remake herself and rebrand herself. All right, from her successful secretary of the or not secretary but ambassador to the UN. People remember that.
Yeah, that's true, and we need to make room for Ambassador West.
And at that point, she can try and possibly make a run, and then if she fails that, perhaps she can push it to a secretary position, meaning like a secretary of state or something like that. And what's more is just because she's leaving the ambassadorship, if she comes back in 10 or 15 months later and says, okay, I'm all refreshed, I'm ready to go, and comes back to talking to Trump, she could just as easily, who else is leaving? Let me be Secretary of State. She could parlay this in many different ways.
Yeah, no, and the article I read was from CNN, and they were actually quite kind to her and said that it's really weird that she's going out on a good note with the president because, most of the other people that have been replaced haven't gone out on a good note with the president.
Well, that's not
Steve Bannon.
Fuck CNN. They called Kanye West a damn Negro, or whatever the fuck.
What? Those words are different.
That's been all over the fucking news.
Well,
a token Negro. Oh, a token Negro.
Yeah, he did call him a token Negro. But Beams, what do you mean by those words are different?
They are different words.
Do they have different meanings?
I believe so.
Oh, and what's the difference in meanings between them?
One is a lot more derogatory than the other, maybe, depending on context, time period.
How?
They're both used in a demeaning fashion.
So would you walk up to a black man and call him a Negro, a token Negro? If you had no information about the person, whether he was in the public eye or not, if you knew nothing personal about the person,
I'd probably say, "Hey guys, what's going on?"
Oh,
well,
so
no,
whether you liked the person or not, you wouldn't
who
call
said it
the person
though?
a token Negro.
Yeah, who said it?
Don Lemon.
Okay, well, he's black. Isn't he allowed to do that?
If white people
It
aren't
was
allowed
Don
to
Lemon
do
and
it,
two
why
other
are
people.
Black people allowed to do it? Why do we have verbal
he's already been
standards
called
for-
out of the Don Lemon, and there was two other people on his panel.
I agree with you, Tim.
And they've already been called out as fucking racist.
This attitude of it, I can say it, but you can't. We don't have a two-tier justice system.
Well, no, you're absolutely right. I don't agree with it either. I actually remember watching the documentary The N-Word, and it was like Chris Rock was in it, and a bunch of people were trying to dispel that whole thing and trying to say, it's just a word. All we're doing is giving that word power to hurt us.
Wait,
and
so what you're saying is it's like Voldemort.
To be fair, one of my best friends, somebody that if I see him again, he's going to give me a giant hug. I'm a little tiny dude. He's a big-ass motherfucker. He's a black dude. I went to go see him one day, and I brought my sister's boyfriend. And he was on LSD, and he got very emotional. And I was like, dude, you're acting like a fucking nigger. What the fuck is your problem? 2 days later, he came to my house and apologized. He was like, yeah, dude, I really was acting like a nigger. I apologize. And it wasn't anything racial. It was the attitude. And I'm done.
Well, yeah, and my channel is under review for monetization, so
Yeah.
let's try and stay away from using that word because YouTube doesn't like it.
You've got a
But,
story for everything, don't you?
We are.
Yes,
That's
I
what
do.
happens when you grow up.
I always have a story for everything. I'm an old fucker with some really weird shit that happened in my life.
Welcome to the Redeye. The views expressed by the panel and Mad Dodge Productions does not necessarily reflect Mad Dodge Productions, the Redeye's actual views.
Yes, and I did not mean that word in a racist way whatsoever.
Yeah, because the bot they use will totally know that. But anyway,
Sorry, Dodge. I'm sorry.
It's okay. We were talking about Don Lemon saying it about Kanye West. Why didn't they just go all out and just call him a fucking Uncle Tom? I mean, what the fuck's going on here, CNN? You really need ratings that bad?
I think they do. I think they do. I think they have married themselves so deeply to this political ideal that, or this ideal that, politics are based upon race and social identity, that they don't realize that people are still individuals with brains.
I think they're saying they're factors, and then when you come back and say, no, it's not, they think you're disagreeing with everything that they're saying, so they're like, you must be bad.
They have to put an end to it because he's a threat to the plantation.
Yes. He's an individual. How dare he be an individual that doesn't fit into some sort of ill-begotten, not accurate stereotype that's only been created because the media needed an ass pat.
Well,
But
no,
isn't that what fills in the gaps? Because when you're watching some of those confirmations, if they're not putting if they're a Republican or a Democrat or an independent after them, you hear that, you're like, I wonder if they're a Republican. I wonder if they're a Democrat. Then you're listening there for certain key phrases. Did they say he? Did they say she? It's just we're human beings. We're curious creatures. We want to know.
Well, I'm not saying that, obviously. I'm not saying that at all. That doesn't even have to do with what I was talking about.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm scatterbrained.
I'm
You are
confused now.
scatterbrained because she's right. This has nothing to do with the conversation, the way she was trying to, the way she's discussing it. The problem still comes back to the same thing, right? They can't afford to have somebody like Kanye West off their plantation. The reason they went after Clarence Thomas had absolutely nothing to do with his judicial record. It had everything to do with the fact that he was an African-American conservative. And they couldn't allow that without demeaning him to the point where he has been called by the ACLU an Uncle Tom.
Yeah.
Okay, and yes, they will get to the point where they're calling Kanye West an Uncle Tom. I guarantee you that phrase has already been used, all right, when they're talking about him, all right, in different phrases back in the background, all right, because they can't afford to have somebody that doesn't think like them in lockstep with their leftist agenda. And the reason for that is that if it even comes down to where 70% of the African-American vote, all right, is going to the Democrats and 30% is going to the Republicans, the Democrats will not win elections, with the possible exception of maybe a few in California.
Okay, MC, I do have a question for you. What do you think is going on with this ridiculousness of the ACLU calls out anti-Semitism, but at the same time loves Islam, even though Islam is very much anti-Semitic?
Well, what's going on with that? In what way are you asking the question?
No, what do you think the deal is with it?
I
Why?
think it's the same thing. It's identity politics. They're struggling with which identity is most important with them, but it's the same thing. It's still identity politics. They're playing the exact same game that they've always been playing. It hasn't changed.
But calling people anti-Semitic and then also at the same time saying that you're being
they want their cake and eat it too. That's exactly what I've been saying for the longest time. This has been the problem. For the longest time, the Democrats, and I'm talking decades, all right, they've been able to get away with saying one thing and doing another, and no one ever calling them out on it. The biggest problem they had with Trump was the fact that Trump walked over and said something on a campaign trail, all right, that they couldn't prevent other people hearing. And that's when he walked in there in that black shirt and said, "What else do you have to lose? You've been voting for these guys for the past 3 decades, and what have you gotten for it? You're still you're still poor. You're not getting anywhere. The areas you live in are becoming more rundown. These Democrats in Democrat-owned cities, and you haven't gotten anything. So you worry about me? What am I going to do? Make you stay here?" All right. That has been attempted by several people in the past, but only Trump was able to actually get it because the alternative media has made such a nuisance of itself that they couldn't hide that. And people were like, maybe I can break out of this a little bit. And all Trump did, if in these elections, you got to remember, Trump only won 15%, between 15 and 16% of the African American vote, but it was enough to change 2 big states, Michigan and Pennsylvania. Just that small shift. Okay, that's how critical the African American vote being in lockstep at 90% is to the freaking Democrat Party. So they have to do everything they can to destroy any African American that dares sit up there and go against it.
Yeah, I do love my state. Well, except for the fact that there's so much shit going on right now.
Well, okay, so we know what the left is doing, and Jacob brings up an excellent question. What are we going to do about it? We're all sitting here bloviating, talking, bitching, and complaining about this, right? What are we going to fucking do about it, though? You know, well, besides voting, what else are we going to do? Because these people aren't using voting as a way to change anything. They're using bully tactics. They're using tactics.
Half a life is just showing up. That's what Dr. Shiva told me.
If they show aggression, we retaliate with aggression.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and that doesn't go down a good path.
No, and I don't mean fighting memes. I don't mean fighting.
It's the only path available, memes. You keep denying that goes down a bad path. It is a possible bad path, but you know what? You know what's worse? Knuckling under and letting violence constantly rule your life.
Yes, and I'm with MC here. We can't just bow down and say, "I'm sorry, I was somebody that had wrong think." Fuck that noise.
What are we bowing down to?
No, 2 + 2 = 5. Always.
No, 20. No, 2 + 2 = 22.
Oh, what are we bowing to? I'm not going to bow to crybaby fucking feelings. I'm not going to bow to motherfucking thin-skinned ass motherfucking pussies that can't fight.
How are we bowing down?
How are we bowing down? We're allowing them to control the narrative through the media. We're allowing Antifa to run around the streets and fucking burn shit down.
People.
So who controls the executive branch? Who currently controls the legislative branch, and who more or less has a more of an influence in the judiciary?
Who controls the legislative branch? Leftists do.
That's what's going on now, memes.
Yes.
Memes. Ogre is calling you out in chat.
Oh, I see you there, Mr. Ogre. What's up? Yes, President Trump is in the White House, and I believe he's a Republican, or at least identifies as one.
No, memes. I'm not yelling at you at all. I'm just stating my beliefs. That's it, bro.
No, that's why I hear. It's like, oh, the folks are being deplatformed and everything. And is not President Trump, did he not launch an investigation into a lot of the bigger Silicon Valley firms to see what funny business may be going on? Because this stuff is going on. And President Trump, he tends to lay out the groundwork. I just imagine, all right, let's just assume
how much
Trump
power
is
you have this imaginary freaking thing that Trump is God Emperor.
No, well, that or the Cheeto Fuhrer.
Okay, can the Cheeto Fuhrer sit up there and actually do an investigation in California right now for on election fraud?
Can he?
No.
Thank you, Atama. No, he doesn't have that
Can he say words
ability.
that would influence people?
It doesn't matter if he says words that influence people. This is America. This is a place where we have free speech, memes.
Do
Well,
we?
we're supposed to, anyways.
Codified legally, yes, we do. You want to try to challenge it on some sort of intellectual level? Sure. It sounds like a troll to me.
But isn't this the argument that we're losing free speech? I'm just asking.
Yes, but I'm stating a legal reason why you're getting lost in the mix.
It's not a matter of losing it, right? It's a matter of we lost it, we regained it. Now it's a matter of holding on to it again.
But that sounds like a war.
Yeah.
It is. It's a cultural Cold War. We have been engaged in this cultural Cold War since probably 2008, and just most people stayed asleep for most of it because they didn't want to admit it was there.
Is this just all because of people are pissed off? It's like, oh, look, the Democrats, they passed the Affordable Care Act. They used the nuclear option. And then, hi, we have Merrick Garland. He has a dog and everything, according to John Oliver. And then, no, we're going to let it be a referendum. And then we got Mr. Gorsuch. And then folks were angry about that. And then Mr. Kavanaugh.
Well, stop right there, Memes, because this is the crap that you guys do. You forget that quote-unquote option.
Oh, I lost everything
Who created the Biden rule that no justices in the final year of a presidency were going to be allowed. All right? That's
I thought he was up there for 14, 15 months.
Okay, so it wasn't 14 or 15 months. Merrick Garland was not frickin' delayed 14 or 15 months.
Yeah, I thought he was delayed like 2 years.
No.
Are you sure?
Yes. He was first
sure?
nominated. Yes, I am sure. When was he nominated? When was he nominated?
Let's see. Merrick Garland. Someone fill some dead air.
Well,
Merrick Garland.
I'm trying to figure out what the premise of the argument is, because if we're saying, oh, we'll see, the right did it
MC's right.
Oh, what a surprise!
No, he's nominated a little less than 6 months before. He had such a good-looking dog too.
This was the Biden rule
camera's on.
Followed, and yet you come back and everyone comes back and says, "Oh, look at the Republicans started this once again." When the Republicans used the same tactics that were first utilized by the left, okay, all of a sudden now, okay, well they're going past the pale. When it comes to a fight, all right, the person who throws the first blow, the first person who sets the tone, those are the rules. And if somebody sits up there and then jumps, the aggressor sets the next rule, the aggressor sets the next rule. Who's been the aggressor this entire time, Memes?
But while you guys in the modern world, what I said? No, I said Obamacare and the nuclear option.
When you guys in the modern world have been allowing the aggression to be constantly set by the left. You've been ignoring the fact that they've been pushing this way again and again and again, and you were joining them, all right, to bash conservatives for decades. And now when the conservatives have finally said, you know what, we've drawn a line, we're not coming back any further than this. Now what's the left do? They push again, the right pushes back, they escalate again, the right pushes back again. And here's Memes. Well, can't we all just get along? Tell me, when are you ever going to sit up there and get the left to sit up there and get along? Tell me.
Well, that's a very good question. Welcome, Cynic. And yeah, you're right. I do have some work to do. But when you say you, what do you mean by you?
You moderates.
Yeah, he's talking about the moderates. And
that sounds encompassing. What if we replace moderates with libertarians?
Okay, Memes, that's retarded.
Well, no, and MC has already done that. He threw me under the fucking moderate bus along with you. All right, so
I call them libertarians because of the Libertarian Party, not because of you, MADDS, specifically.
Jacob's got a point in the chat.
Fuck off. Anyway,
right now they have access to our children, and they are influencing the next generation, even at the earliest of ages.
Not in my house.
That's what Jacob just said in the chat.
I know. I'm just saying some of us are fighting back. About 20% of America's families now homeschool.
Yes.
So there is that.
So hey, Tim, do you get the kids? Your munchkins? How old are they?
Everywhere from almost 30 to 6. The ones that I'm teaching are 11 and 6. Why?
Oh no, your kids, the ones that came out of you.
They're 20, 11, and 6.
Okay, I was homeschooled, and it wasn't necessarily easy when it came to social things.
Oh, you just got to learn how to do it right. I think sometimes parents get so caught up in trying to keep their kids away from the ills of society, we forget to teach them how to deal with the ills of society.
Sometimes you just gotta let your kids eat dirt.
Oh.
Yeah, and my parents, they were very open towards the homeschooling thing. My mom taught me math, and she taught me all the good stuff, everything.
Yeah.
That's hard.
Homeschool is a hard thing to do as a parent.
It is. It's very tiring.
Yeah.
Well, it's getting
Very
easier because
annoying
you
at
have.
times.
Well, it's getting easier because you have like Khan Academy and other stuff like that are good tools to use.
Assuming
but-
they don't destroy every electronic they get a hold of. Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
fair enough.
And my sister is
You're a
moving to
parent, you
Colorado.
understand that.
My sister is moving to Colorado because my nephew has shaken baby syndrome. And it's just a better school up there. But here in New Mexico, she was about to do the homeschool thing. But the little dude walks around with a cane. Anyways, continue, guys. Sorry.
Well, no, my kids go to a charter school, which us parents actually have a little bit more say in what is taught there, which is nice. But yeah, the public school system is, when you graduate, you're pretty much almost guaranteed to graduate, and you're a liberal probably. You know what I mean? Like, you're a Democrat after you graduate usually. It takes learning to actually change your political beliefs. And I think that has a lot to do with the government schooling system.
Do you think some of it comes down to personality archetypes?
That too.
Because, I mean, if that's something you're more kind of born with, and it's a mix of kind of like who you're kind of come into the world as well as your environment. So, I mean, like, I don't know, is that like a protected class or something?
What?
I don't know, political views?
No, it's not. Your political views are not protected under any law, unless you want to donate campaign money.
I mean, is it becoming an ideology or some ways, kind of some religious undertones?
Are you pointing out the obvious again, memes?
Maybe.
Are you really that?
Well, no, and I want to go back to this this idea that we could all just get along memes. We can't. We can't even hold a rally. Even libertarians can't without Antifa showing up. I mean, how are we going to get along when we're the ones being assaulted on the street?
No, I went to a rally and I wasn't assaulted. I had a guy came up that said he was there to protest the Nazis. He may have been referring to me.
Have you seen any of the protests in fucking Portland? Have you seen any of them? The police have to be there every fucking time, man.
Yeah, I watched one of Tim Pool's live streams from there, man. I'm saying just from my personal experience, at least the one I went to in Massachusetts, the police, they had that pat down.
Yeah, well, try holding a rally in Eugene or Portland or something. Just try and see how quickly Antifa shows up.
Here's a question for you, Memes. In that Massachusetts rally, what were they protesting?
Oh, the rally is for freedom of speech. It was for the First Amendment.
Okay, can you compromise with people who demand that you no longer have freedom of speech?
What? No, I disagree with them.
Okay, you can disagree with them, but you can't compromise with them. That's what you keep coming back trying to find is compromise. They won't compromise.
Did I say that on that particular topic?
That is.
I think you're including certain things that I haven't said or other folks have said.
When
Yeah,
we're
what do
talking
you
about
mean
those
by the left? It
memes,
sounds kind of like the libertarian argument.
no,
Oh, good Lord.
memes. You just don't want to admit who the left is. Okay, you say, well, this guy would argue with me. That guy the next day could just as easily put a mask on and put a bullet in your head.
That's true.
And then what's more is that guy probably wouldn't have had a problem if somebody hit you over the head with a stick that did have a mask on protesting your freedom of speech.
Possibly.
Okay, how can you have anything to do with these kinds of people? And what I mean by that is very specifically, yeah, you can try to have a dialogue with them. Was he interested in having a dialogue, really?
No, I
he
just
was
pointed
interested
him
as
over where he
long
was
as you
going.
were willing to be nice and soft and unthreatening, instead of saying, I'm here because I think freedom of speech is important and I think you guys have gone too far. You weren't willing to do that, are you?
Well, isn't that just starting a fight?
How's that starting a fight?
Because you're being aggressive rather than
No, you're not.
consultative.
Wait a
You're
minute.
drawing a
Wait a minute.
line.
I have a question. Why is the onus on me to be non-aggressive? Why is
I
the
believe
onus
most
on
folks are
me?
good people. I'm sorry.
No, wait. Why is the onus on me to show that I'm not a threat as a conservative? Why is the assumptive onus on me to prove that I'm not going to attack people? Why is that an assumptive onus? Why am I operating under that paradigm? There is
Because
an
you're all
automatic
about
assumption that if I'm at a rally speaking for free speech, I have to defend myself because I'm at a rally for speaking free speech. So ergo, I must be assaulted. Or ergo, I must be attacked in some fashion. That's not how it works. It shouldn't be viewed as that. I shouldn't have to come in simpering and looking lesser than I am to try to appeal to somebody. I should be able to come in and speak something directly. I shouldn't have to come in and pretend I'm submissive when I'm not.
Okay.
You're asking me to lie to make a personal interaction.
And if you say that to somebody that you don't know and have never met, couldn't that come off as a bit combative? So they'll fill in the gaps and be like, oh, this person must believe all these things that maybe they don't believe.
They're throwing
Hey,
piss
memes.
on people, memes. They're throwing
Hold
piss
on.
on people.
Acid and piss and vinegar and lit Molotov cocktails and firecrackers and wine bottles and sticks and bike locks and knives. And they're running people over with cars. They're kicking women in the face for saying it's a baby. Maybe we should think about the fact there's a baby too. No, there's no way to equate the two anymore. Memes. Show me the domestic terrorist group that is meeting together, well funded and organized, setting trash cans and banks on fire that are on the right.
Well, I think cryptic or cynic. I'm sorry, man. I think you have something to say, but before we just delve into that, it's like, okay, but again, I would go with the whole pox on both houses thing.
Memes.
Yes.
Let's just say that you're on their side for a second. You are the one that is against speech. I'm the one that's for freedom of speech. Now take us back to when we first met. I didn't act any different than what I do now. I called you all sorts of names then. I still do now. Me?
Hi, little Sharati. No. Well, here's the thing on that. It's like, okay, yeah, because we're affable and stuff, and a lot of things that we say, perhaps, maybe we still hold to. I am rubber and you are glue, and whatever you say bounces on me and sticks to you. It's like we don't care as much, but not everybody's like us, Sharati.
Okay, that's all good and well, but doesn't that shoe go on 2 feet?
I did put the wrong shoe on before.
Well, no, and in the chat, Ogre asks, is Memes Antifa? No, Memes is not Antifa, and we're not accusing him of being a member of Antifa. But what we are saying is that, you know, MC has a fucking point. You got to pick a side, and I choose free speech every time.
Hold on. I agree with Memes because I think he has conviction. Memes has his own thoughts. That's fine. I'll give him a little bit of shit for it, but, you know, that's neither here nor there. He's a good guy, though.
What conviction does Memes have? Tell me what his stance is.
He's a centrist guy that will believe. Okay,
Yeah, all right, this is not going well.
All right,
So
I'm curious on what Cynic thinks before we keep roasting.
Oh, I have no fucking.
Hold on. I think that that motherfucking Means of Destruction is a stand-up guy that has his own beliefs, and that's fine. Mine may differ than his, but
Sith, you're a hell of a...
Shut up, Shirati. He's good people.
Okay.
Done. Shutting up.
I see an argument that's being stubbornly obtuse for the sake of obtuseness because there's not even that much logic involved in your premise. Memes. Are you trolling?
All I'm saying is we seem to have been following the same game for a while, and look at where it's got us. I'm saying we need to break the meta. I'm tired of just, here are my talking points. Here are my talking points. Here are the arguments from here. Here are the arguments from here. I really don't think we disagree that much. I think we're just all pissed off at each other, and we keep on playing into our hatred.
No, I think we do disagree that much anymore. Because you have people now saying that if you have a specific gender, if you have a specific hair color, if you have a specific eye color, if you have a specific hair type, if you have any kind of physical attribute that falls into a specific list that people have created a title for, you no longer have a personage. You are merely whatever
but Memes is saying that, okay, you've got those people, this hair color. I can't stand that fucking hair color. Then you've got the other side. Oh, well, I can't stand those people that can't stand that people that can't stand that people. It's just an endless loop of hatred on both sides.
Yeah, but that's not the problem. The problem is you're not arguing about hair color. Yes, the hair color was used to divide people into identity politics, but the actual problems aren't that. The actual problems are the division of the principles, and these are core principles of the country.
I don't think there's that much disagreement. I think we're arguing over semantics.
Is at this point because you have people that no longer value free speech. You have people that no longer value the three-tier system of our government with checks and balances. You have people that no longer value what it is to be American. They're outright saying that America is disgusting and it needs to fall. And these are people that were born here. Okay. We have so many new fundamental differences that didn't exist 30 years ago. There wasn't a large portion of America that didn't think it was good to be an American. We now have a double-digit section of America that thinks it's bad to be American. That's new.
Do they actually believe that, or do they really just not like the things coming out of President Trump's
No, they really believe it. Memes. They believe the country was founded in a disgusting manner. They believe that this is the worst country on earth. Right now, look at what the mainstream media has been calling for lately. You've never seen this before, Memes. You got people in the mainstream media calling for packing the court. The Supreme Court. You've got other people who are saying, well, just disband it and we'll freaking just deal without justices. We'll take justice into our own hands.
But
there are people literally arguing
I thought you said things
what
have been
kind
like
of
this for
glasses
years.
are the best.
I'm saying...
real quick, I'm reading the chat. Alfred Keith says, Mad Dodge Productions, when did the messenger become more important than the message? That's a good question. Thoughts, panel?
But that's kind of what we're arguing right now, isn't it? That the message is no longer valid. It's what is holding the message that everybody is focusing on. And now that we have a society that focuses on the packaging rather than the present, we don't know how to respond because this has never happened to our society before. We have never been a rational group of people that couldn't see that, or that couldn't remember that there's more than meets the eye. Okay, we have an entire society that has forgotten how to creatively and rationally and linearly think. And this is the first time since we've had the idea of logic, this has become part of our makeup as a society. We don't know what we're doing right now. And we're sailing around in the dark. And this is the outcome of it. And I don't think that going around trying to hold everybody's hand and find our kumbaya moment is going to work anymore. I've been doing that for 25 years and it's getting worse.
Yes, and it has gone that way. What's going on now, like living here in northern New Mexico, well, middle New Mexico in Albuquerque, we have people running around with Mexican flags. It's fucking insane. There is no reason.
Yeah, my ex-roommate had a Puerto Rican flag in his Civic, but I mean, he happened to be
It doesn't
Puerto
ma-
Rican. What's wrong with that?
Because
No,
he's not. He's American. He's
hold
not
on,
Puerto
hold on.
Rican. He's fucking American.
Well, he's
Hold on.
American now.
There is nothing wrong whatsoever with even flying said Puerto Rican, Mexican, whatever flag. If you fly it with the American flag, I'm good with that. If that makes sense to you.
Yeah. I don't care if people want to say, hey, this is where I'm from. But you can't say, oh, he's Puerto Rican. No, he's not. He's fucking American. And that's part of the problem. We've forgotten.
We've lost that.
Yeah. Did you catch what you just said? Oh, he's Puerto Rican. Like, he's not American.
Exactly.
Well, you can belong to different groups, man. I think a lot of us belong to a lot of different groups.
But when you're flying the flag of another sovereign nation and you're living in another one that you belong part to, you're missing the entire
you do
point.
both?
No, you can't. Well, you
No,
gotta
really,
have a
you can't.
prioritization, all right, of one
Well, you're
or
supposed to
the
have the
other.
American flag on top.
Do you
Well,
see
that would be
happening
different.
at rallies? Do you see that happening at these protest rallies? There was a guy that the Antifa attacked, and he was on their side, who was waving an American flag, memes.
Yeah, I remember that.
That's who they are. That's who they've always been. The problem is that when people were trying to say this for decades and decades, they weren't able to sit up there and actually say it because it was hidden from them, because they weren't allowed to speak.
Hold on a second. Memes, you like Naruto, right?
This is affirmative.
Okay. Naruto had a demon inside of him from the absolute day that he was born.
Yeah, the nine-tailed fox.
Yes. Would you say that he was a demon, or was he human?
He was a member of both those groups.
No, he was a human vessel of a demon.
Well, that's fair. And then once he controlled the power of the demon that was within him, he was able to go full chakra mode and ascend to a higher level.
What
But
does
he
this have
was
to do with
still
anything?
a human.
I'm trying
yeah.
to put it in context so he can understand.
No, I
Yeah.
appreciate and agree with the gamer theory.
Okay. Well, I mean, and MC has a point. Look at the Weather Underground. Look at the Black Panthers. Look at all these groups that have formed on the left that ended up being listed as domestic terrorists. What do you have on the right? The KKK. I wouldn't even put them on the right, really. They were started by the Democratic Party.
And anything that requires that kind of leftist ideology. So
yeah, neo-Nazis. Wait a minute, that's socialism. That's on the left. What? The Oath Keepers, I guess you might be able to say they're on the right. Because they want to protect the borders. You don't really have very many groups on the right that end up being domestic terrorists like you do on the left. And now you see the rise of Antifa, where you go out there saying freedom of speech is good, everybody should be able to have a platform to talk, and you get piss thrown on you, or you get a bottle busted over your head, or you get
somebody
fucking
runs up and punches you while you're in the middle of an interview.
yeah, all
that happened
because
more than once now.
Yeah, and the actions of a few shouldn't represent an entire group, right?
a few.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
though?
The actions of a few should never represent everything that's going on. You're absolutely right. Memes.
Yeah, but it's not a few. Antifa tore apart fucking Berkeley, right? Like they just fucking ripped it apart and shit.
How many
Not
folks
only
did
is it
that?
not a few memes, you don't see people on the left or the middle, the moderates, calling it out.
Well, yeah. Well, folks should do that. If you're destroying things and assaulting
Let
people,
me know
that's
when you're
fucking
able
wrong.
to sit up there and hold hands with those kumbaya moments with those people, and you see a majority of those few that you say, where the majority that isn't that part of the few, all right, is calling them out. Why is it that you say they're just a few that are doing these reprehensible things that you're saying everyone agrees is reprehensible because we're a lot closer than you think? Then why is it so hard for the left to say that's reprehensible?
So what are the stats on that? Okay, several hundred. Let's assume several thousand people have taken part in these violent acts. And what do you consider the left? If you're going to consider the left the folks that typically voted for Hillary Clinton, you're talking over 66 million people. So
Yes,
several
and
thousand
out of
out
those
of 66
66
million is
million-
less than 1%. That's like a tenth of a percent or less.
And out of those 66 million people, their elected representatives, how many of them have come out saying that what their actions are reprehensible?
Well, they don't want to get eaten by their own. They tend to
Now
want to
you're
get
making
reelected. They're
excuses for
acting
them,
their
Dean.
self-interest.
They're denying reality.
It's the
They don't
same
look
on
at it as
both
reprehensible.
boxes, Liati. Dude, I hear you, man. I disagree on.
you
really
made the
just
we
yada
disagree on
yada
scale.
that?
Memes, you made the assumption that they disagree with it and they find it reprehensible. What I'm trying to point out to you is you're wrong. Okay? They don't find that activity reprehensible. It does represent them. They have no problem with it.
Is that why certain folks in Congress are starting to walk back some of their statements?
Really? Which one?
I believe, was it Miss Waters and one other
No,
member of the
Waters
House?
hasn't walked
Senate?
back her statement. She sits up there and keeps going. Impeach, impeach, impeach.
Isn't Senator Cruz filing a lawsuit against somebody?
We'll want her back. So they can file lawsuits all they want.
Okay.
Senator Cruz can. What does that have to do with anything? It has
Because if
it
you have
goes back to that
documentation, you
66
send a letter. You
or
follow the
66
process.
million people of that voted for Hillary Clinton. Out of those 66 million of their leadership, that you claim that we get along, that we all have the same thing, that this is reprehensible, that we have the same view, that this is reprehensible. Why is it that they can't find themselves to the point of saying this kind of activity is reprehensible? Why is it that the moderates
Ain't
don't
Jack
do
in
it?
the chat says, I was born in South Korea. I was raised in South Korea. My family is South Korean. I'm a U.S. citizen, and therefore I'm now someone learning to be an American, and I will not spit in the faces of Americans by claiming to be a proud Korean, hyphenating American with Korean and flying Korean people's flag. I'd never fly the South Korean government flag. They are, I'm assuming he's going to finish, they are different.
Sharadi, anti-Jack is good people. I really like that guy.
Well, no, and not only are they not disavowing, but they actually double down on Antifa's message. Same with Occupy Wall Street. They actually cheer these people on. So, I mean, there's that memes. And by they, I mean the media, I mean the freaking lefty movie stars, fucking Kathy Griffin. I mean, anybody remember that picture of a decapitated Donald Trump head?
Yeah,
just
had
throwing
she
that out
waited
there.
until Halloween and dressed as the Statue of Liberty, she could have gotten away with it.
Yeah, but no, she did get away with that, while Roseanne lost everything over a stupid joke.
What, she lost her her New Year's gig with Anderson Cooper.
No,
And she didn't
lost
missed out
her
a bunch of
show.
shows.
No, she
Well,
lost
that too.
her show. Like they took the rights to her show from her because she made a joke about Kamala Harris that was accurate.
Valerie Jarrett.
Or Valerie Jarrett. Sorry, I get the two backwards because they're equally useless to me.
It was
Timma,
racist.
Timma, you're my age. You remember watching Roseanne when you were a kid,
yes,
correct?
Hell, I
Yes.
remember watching Roseanne when I was a kid.
but it was a big deal when we were young because the daughter ended up being gay, and that was a big deal. And like, she tackled social issues in a really tasteful manner in the original Roseanne, and it was all the kind of like. And it was all really healthy. It was like, it's okay for people to be gay, just let them be. It was all like very libertarian, very open, like let everybody
Sounds
have their
kinda
personal
progressive.
boundaries.
It was very progressive.
It
man.
was. It was, but it was the good kind. It was the classically liberal kind of progressive. It wasn't this sick amalgamation of cultural Marxism that we have now. It was supposed to extol the differences between everybody and how that makes us,
We're unique.
our uniqueness is what makes us such a wonderful country. It actually brings us together.
Yeah, and there was the black chick that was the she worked with Roseanne and whatnot, the black chick, and then
Yeah.
her family. They all hung out. I missed the 90s, Tim.
Well, you mean when we talked about social issues and we addressed them head on and we treated each other like people?
Yeah, back in the day when it was kind of fun to be different.
Yeah, but back in
was
the day
edgy.
when you guys were discussing that, there were people like me that wanted to be in on that conversation that were never heard from.
Well, why not,
Sorry,
MC?
Because we had no platform then.
We didn't have a platform either. This was us sitting at a fucking lunch table or at a coffee shop. It wasn't like
Now, at a coffee shop, yes, but the overall conversation as it took place nationwide, that platform was very one-sided.
Oh, so I think what MC is saying that is on a more national level, aside from Rush Limbaugh, a lot more conservative folks really felt like they didn't have a voice.
Not like we felt we didn't have one. And even Rush Limbaugh.
Oh, sure, your camera's on.
Even Rush Limbaugh was
and Seth.
basically.
Yeah, and yours, Seth.
They came back and called him a racist, a bigot, a sexist, and a homophobe to prevent people from ever sitting there actually going and listening to him. Now, he had a large platform, but in a lot of ways, Rush Limbaugh, people that were listening to Rush Limbaugh, became an echo chamber unto themselves because they couldn't break out of it. They weren't allowed to break out.
Oh, you got to see my fluffy hair.
See, I wasn't involved in that discussion, though. I wasn't doing this on the national level. I was sitting down and having conversations. So to me,
I understand it, but you weren't having conversations with people like me.
Yes, I was. And I grew up in California. Yes, I most certainly was.
I guarantee you weren't having conversations with people like me. Because
MC is a beast in and unto himself.
Well, are you talking about Christian conservatives?
No.
Right? No?
That's exactly why. That's exactly what I'm talking about. You only heard, quote unquote, the Christian views. They were the only ones that were expressed during that entire time frame. There were, because people like me weren't allowed a platform. There weren't other ways to discuss this.
Are you talking about fiscally conservative?
I'm just talking about taking a look at and breaking things down into the way they are. For example, I've had argument after argument with.
So you're Schrodinger's cat now, MC? What label are you giving yourself here? Because I don't understand what you're talking about.
I'm talking about from a conservative point of view, from a historical conservative point of view. And what I mean by this.
And in the 90s, we called that libertarianism, MC.
There was a time that I would have considered myself a libertarian as well, but I'm not one.
You guys most certainly had a voice at the time.
Hey, no, MC is politically fluid.
Called libertarianism.
No, I'm telling you, we didn't, because you didn't have people discuss, for example, what marriage.
Colin Kaepernick files trademark for image of his face and hair.
That's retarded. He's going to try to copyright his great hair. I don't know if he can copyright his hair. Is that?
I have never asked you, MC. Are you a Christian?
I do consider myself a Christian, but I'm a poor Christian.
Okay, fair enough. Just had to ask.
Wait, is Colin Kaepernick doing that? That way we can't make memes about him anymore without being sued?
Probably.
That's probably what he's trying to do, yeah. This will go, I guarantee that's what he will try to do.
Wait a minute. Can you copyright your face? Because you didn't create it.
It's your likeness.
It doesn't matter. You didn't create it. Can you physically copyright your face? You can copyright an image of your face.
You can copyright genetics, apparently.
Yes, you can copyright your genetic, your DNA, which is something that I've told people is dangerous, because when you take a look at the structure, from a legal structure, if you sit up there and say that you can copyright your DNA, and then you turn around and say, well, when it comes to abortion, it's whatever you want. And then you add to the fact that, okay, what are you going to do with an artificial womb? How then do you describe a clone as being anything more than it's been copyrighted by me? Which means I could totally control another person. I could create a slave group strictly from that.
I remember when Ogre, CSG, Bollocks, and Coach Red Pill.
But hold on.
Say you copyright your DNA, but you have an identical twin. Isn't that then copywriting your twin?
But that's kind of stupid, because your DNA doesn't stay the same your entire life. So you're just copyrighting your DNA in that moment. My DNA is totally different now that I've had children.
Oh, I
So
read
you-
further down. It says Colin Kaepernick files to trademark a black and white image to
Okay.
put on clothing and footwear.
Oh no! Somebody does not know the way.
Oh, so what you're saying is Colin Kaepernick is a capitalist?
He's a fucking idiot, is what he is.
Apparently.
Well, no, and why the hell did Nike even give him a deal? He doesn't play football anymore. Why are you making shoes of his? Are they kneeling shoes? Why not fucking make some knee pads?
MD, come on. Democrats buy shoes too.
What memes? They just want to be Negroes. Get it? It was a stupid thing.
We're all going to hell.
Yeah, I did that.
But I don't know. Colin Kaepernick hasn't done anything to help the fucking public discourse either, and no wonder nobody wants to sign him for another football team. One, he sucks, and two, he wants way too much money because he did get a deal offered. Don't let him fool you. I don't remember what team it was, but they offered him a fucking deal, and he's like, "That's not enough money," and turned him down. He's not working because he didn't want to
He
work.
almost won the World Series.
Oh, fuck off, memes. First off, World Series is baseball. Second, it was the Super Bowl in football. And third, he had one good year, and that's it.
Hey, MD, all I'm saying is there's always hope for the Dodgers.
That's right, NLCS.
Theresa May will ask Cabinet for a customs unit Brexit as DUP warns it could bring down her government.
Theresa May needs to just do a hard Brexit right now and save her political career or resign. That's my thoughts on her.
Donald Tusk attacked her on Instagram and she has to respond.
I don't know. What do you think, MC? Theresa May just needs to do the hard Brexit and save her political career, right?
Mm-hmm.
It-
Save our country.
That is the only way to save her career. You're correct. Just cut the cord right now and say, fine, we've tried to make deals with you. You said no, here it is. Whack. And just say, you get nothing. We're not giving you any millions of dollars. You get nothing for us. See you later. And refuse to listen to anything they have to say.
She should go the whole Willy Wonka route. Good day to you, sir. Good day.
She has no choice. This is the thing. This goes back to memes to exactly what we're talking about here. You can't make deals with people who have a total different philosophy and won't try to listen to the other side.
Oh,
And you keep saying, yes, they will, and we keep pointing out time after time after time that they don't.
So
it says
you're saying
Theresa May
nobody
will
has
ask Cabinet
conversation.
to agree to the Brexit deal and keeps the UK customs.
It's
Oh,
That's
okay.
just in
I'm
the
here now.
title. Why are you here,
Optimus.
Optimus?
Hey, how's it going?
How you doing?
All right, I gotta ask: Autobots or Decepticons?
Autobots, because they're actually in lore the villains.
All right, I just had to ask. How's it going?
I'm doing all right.
Is it bad that I'm unsure if that's your naturally smooth voice or you're going through a synthesizer?
Oh no,
No,
that's Optimus.
This
That's
is my-
Optimus.
I
Yeah.
like this robot.
Autobots, lick my ass.
Perfect.
That's Optimus Prime. That motherfucker is a badass.
Optimus Christ.
But all right, look.
He's a bigger badass because he throws tables at people too.
I do.
Dade in the chat says, doesn't matter, they're all globalists. There's no Brexit, there's no wall. Hey Jensen, is that the only way Theresa May can save her political career? Are me and MC on the right track? You actually live in the UK, so you can either jump on if you want, or you can just write it in the chat and I'll read it out.
Yeah, I sent him the link earlier today.
Come on, Jensen. We want confirmation.
But I mean, the political discourse in the UK is almost worse than it is here. I mean, they go and protest Tommy being arrested over bullshit, and then they're all called a bunch of racists.
Quinn
I
says
mean-
no, she's fucked no matter what.
No, the optic for is awful right now.
Really, Dodge? That it's the worst in the UK. UK's fucking nasty right now. I wouldn't pay somebody to live there. Poor bastards.
Whoever's cell phone keeps going off, just turn your volume down, please. It's pissing off the chat, it looks like, or at least Dade. But
Push
can
to
be
talk
No,
for the
it's
win.
just pissing off Zero Cool, and I told him no a while ago. It's not my phone, but I still told him no.
Well, you're She-Ra.
I'm not She-Ra, and you still don't understand that name, so fuck off, memes.
That's fine. You're welcome.
But I don't know. I don't know what the UK is going to do to save themselves. Any idea what they can do other than Brexit, MC?
Well,
Okay,
I know what
I'll
they
throw
can
it
do.
to one of you guys then, because it looks like MC walked away. Oh, there he is.
No, there isn't anything that they can do. The only thing they can do is Brexit, and they're going to have to do a hard Brexit. It's either that or you might as well throw away Brexit. Those are their two choices.
And what happens if they throw away Brexit?
Then basically half the country will start to burn the other half.
They're going to have something worse than our left-right paradigm going on, because it's going to be immigrants versus non-immigrants. And it's going to be ugly, because what happens when you get a lot of angry Brits together? What do they do to their own towns
You
when
get
they
people
get
like me.
excited about soccer games? Oh, excuse me. What do? They will burn their own towns to the ground on accident on a good night. Okay.
We need to prepare for a fight.
If the Brits get fed up, it's going to be bad for the people that are not on the right side. It's not like the Brits aren't known for fucking the Tower of London. Oh,
Maz, I put
Well,
the
that could
link
also
in there.
that could also be correlated with Democrats and Republicans as well.
Sort of,
like the far left. It'll they're so against guns and everything and stuff like that. Well, Republicans, or the right or whatever, they're like, you're not taking our guns away. And then once the left is like, you're giving us your guns, you can take the bullet that's in the chamber, but there's no way that you're getting my gun. And
Yeah, no, and that's another thing.
It's going to lead to an all-out, civil war.
Well, Bernie Sanders really wasn't hating on the Second Amendment that much.
except for he said he wanted to fully repeal it. Okay.
No, I don't believe he said that, because he's also the senator from Vermont, which is very traditional, mountainous, and open. And a lot of folks over there want their self-defense.
And most people don't even know what their senators have been doing for decades.
Yeah.
The thing is, with Bernie Sanders, he has more of like the group mentality, sharing is caring sort of stuff. That might work with the smaller community trying to build up resources, but in today's age where everything is in abundance,
well, the other problem he has is the fact that he can't his actual stances can't be hidden like they used to be. People are waking up to the fact that he truly is a Marxist. Regardless of his soft-spoken attitude, right? He truly is a Marxist, and people are becoming uncomfortable with it over time because they're not used to actually realizing who these people are. They're like a lot of the people in Vermont are like memes. They want to believe the best about Bernie Sanders, and all the data is starting to slowly creep out that maybe he's not what they thought he was. Oh well, he's like Hillary Light, he's not really a socialist, No, he really is a socialist. He really does believe in taking away everybody's rights, but he really doesn't. Yes, he does. Okay, and for the longest time, people were what people in Vermont weren't being told was what was really going on. There's a reason that their other senator, all right, is as bad as he is. old Patrick Leahy, Leaky Leahy.
God.
Okay,
Mm.
there's reasons. Once you get that name recognition, then people just go, well, I just vote for the name because the name it's an easy name recognition thing, right? They weren't being told who these people really were and what they were really like. I guarantee you, the vast majority of the people in Vermont don't realize, all right, that Leahy got several of our CIA operatives killed because he intentionally leaked their names during a congressional testimony back in the 80s.
All right, I'm running for president, and if elected, I promise at least one night a year of purge.
Yeah, that's not going to happen ever.
Well, there's a big...
Yeah, later on they decided to repeal that, and folks weren't fans. And some folks
Executive pen.
There is a 600 gorillion pound elephant in the room that nobody is talking about. And I think it needs to be readdressed, and it needs to be brought back up because it was quietly shoved under the rug before.
Who brought my mother in?
I like elephants.
She's got to sit next to my mom, okay, Optimus? They can just orbit around each other, caught in each other's gravitational pulls. They can just spin together.
That is not a pleasant thought.
It is.
So speaking of binary star systems, go ahead, Emma.
So I lost my train of thought. God damn it!
White elephant in the room.
Gabby.
How dare you be funny?
The 600-pound gorilla in the room.
Oh, the 600-pound, the 6 gorillion pound gorilla in the room, or. No, we're not going to say gorilla. We're going to say elephant because that works better. We had.
Are we talking about cabbage?
No, we're talking. No, cabbage is a potato, not an elephant. I know they're easy to confuse, Sharadi, but
Cabbage is hard to confuse for a potato. What the fuck is wrong with you? You got surgery psychosis.
And in addition to the purge night, all the Democrats will get a 38 special revolver. Saturday night special. That's it.
Oh, they're gonna blow up the room.
Dude, that's a good firearm.
Okay.
Right, but notice how they won't be able to even handle it, and then they'll fuck up themselves. But
I want to know what potatoes get and cabbages. The cabbages get what, a 45 and maybe a 303.
Cabbages get a
but you only got 2
with
shots.
some kids.
No. Well, here's the thing. To be fair, Optimus.
I want a bazooka.
My first
It'll be some bubble gum.
No,
we'll give you some bazooka bubble gum. It'll be perfect, Cabby.
No bazookas for cabbages unless you have a weapons collector's license. No, but here's the thing. It's like, hey, my first firearm.
Says, hey, Cabby.
My first firearm was a Ruger 40 semi-automatic, and being the noob I was, my thumb was cocked a little too high. And the gun gave me a bite. After my first shot, I'm like, oh, is this what firing's like? I'm not sure I like this. And then I was told, oh, you're a dumbass. and then I made amends, and I love going to the firing range.
Okay, Tema, what's the elephant in the room? Like, let you finish your thought there.
There's a serious constant in government that we don't really talk about. We change out our elected officials when they piss us off, right? What stays?
Civil service.
Well, what
service.
stays?
I keep telling this to people for years.
Hold on. It's a little more specific than just the civil service system itself. It's not just our civil servants, because that's fine. You have somebody who's worked for 38 million years over in the IRS.
Yeah,
that's fine. When you're talking about
the advisors.
Yeah, people
like Henry Kissinger. I mean, that fucker turns out like a bad penny everywhere.
Exactly. And if you look, the support staff for all of our elected officials, it doesn't matter who gets in or out. It's all the same fucking support staff. Where do you think this corruption gets transferred from location to location? How do you think these deals are done so smoothly? Shouldn't we be looking at the people that are hired?
Tama, don't be so naive. This is called the continuity of government, the COG.
The continuity of government is built into the laws. It doesn't have to be supplied by people. The things they need to continue are data.
People, who's going to do the shit?
Oh,
no, not in terms of.
Let's not go down this road.
Officials. I'm talking about the cabinets and the appointed support staff.
The furniture.
For
the fuck?
No.
Don't blame the furniture.
You're retarded. Go away, or I'm going to kick you.
Yeah, right. Try it.
Quote the Eric Holder method.
Well, the furniture has been expensive.
Little do they know that the person and the CIA.
I was talking about something fucking important, though, Cabby. You're a fucking dick, dude. This is actually a really big, important thing.
The only way to fix that, Sherardi,
I got a big info.
The only way to fix that is
you misnamed her too. It wasn't just me.
Is to physically reduce.
You can't say
the
Cameron.
size,
He never has.
Is to physically reduce the size of the federal government. That's how you deal with it. You reduce the power of the federal government. You take away what they're doing.
Couldn't you just give everyone early retirement?
And the thing is, I wholeheartedly agree with, limiting the government, if not taking it away completely.
I would love to see there be not a need for government, but that's
Convention of States.
It's not. No, you are telling us we need to give up our freedom of speech.
No, I agree with MC. Do you really think you're going to get 2/3 of the House, of the Senate, and 3/4 of the states to agree on anything unless they really agree on it? Come on.
Do you think that California and New York City, with their populations alone, don't have enough push to affect how anything else in the nation is done?
No, because you need 3/4 of the states. You need the actual 3/4 plus or minus.
Yes.
No, plus
and
one.
how does California place pressure upon other states to get them to do what they
but
want?
35 states is a lot of
illegal
states.
immigrants. It doesn't matter. They'll bust in the same group of illegal immigrants all over the nation. They've been doing it for a while. They have the money.
We have iPhones. On the dynamic is different. I'm just saying.
What
haven't I seen an alien on the internet from the last elections? They don't.
Well, yeah, you just showed up.
What?
He said an alien. Cabbage is not originally from the United States. This is a U.S. stream.
Well, no. And look at it this way, though, means California, Oregon, Washington, Illinois, New York, Massachusetts. Vermont, New Hampshire. How many states can they all actually get together to actually remove the Second and First Amendments? I'm looking at 8 right there. And I'm sure
did you just listen to New Hampshire?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God! To repeal the Second. Have you ever been to New Hampshire?
No, I know there was a libertarian influx in New Hampshire, but it fell on its ass and it didn't work.
I don't think. Here's the thing: folks might vote stuff in fairly easily, but when it comes to actually taking stuff away, people aren't big fans of that.
And I'm surprised you didn't argue about Massachusetts, but because I was ready to argue with you about
here's the thing: I kind of doubt that either, because a lot of folks in Massachusetts, they may not necessarily have firearms, but I'll be straight up, dude. I took the firearms training class, and it's like I'd like to have the ability to get one should I choose. Just because you're not a mass supporter, and just because you might say, yeah, maybe we should ban certain sporting rifles and stuff, that doesn't mean you just want to say, yeah, just done completely with the Second Amendment. It's not the same thing. That's what I'm saying. We argue over semantics and the scalability. Yeah, if you actually write it out in law, which law, yeah, it's not fucking easy. It's math and words. Math is hard. So when you're trying to figure stuff out, it needs to be written well. That was the whole thing with Professor Peterson. He doesn't really freaking care, like, if somebody requests a particular pronoun. It was the whole bit about, oh, we are compelling your speech. We are doing other things that might actually invalidate the actual profession you're doing. These are nuanced things. And if it's done lazily or if it's done in a rushed way, yes, Cabbage, I missed you too, brother. Oh, dude, you missed the gamer theory earlier. Freaking Shirai was trying to explain in Naruto terms. Oh, you would have hated it.
That still doesn't change the fact that you're calling for a dissolution of a majority of the Constitution instead of
nobody
addressing
says
the
that. We're
corruption
talking
in
about
the support staff.
No, we're talking about writing an amendment. That's where your mind might go, and I get it. Our minds tend to go to the worst possible place. But yeah, on this part, I tend to agree with MC. Is the thing: if you're going to write an amendment, why not like the 30th Amendment to the United States Constitution? All senators shall serve no more than 2 terms, and/or House of Representatives, however many, 5 terms, 6 terms, or something, so they can get their pensions.
Fucking problem. That's what I'm saying. The aides that never leave. The aide that has been there since they were 22 years old and now they're 60. that person, and there are a lot of them in Congress, the people you see scurrying around everywhere, a lot of those people don't ever leave DC. They stay there and they continue to broker and power broker and shift power and money, and they all still work together.
Job.
And no, it's not. That is not their job. Their job is to run errands, to gather information, to make sure that senators have the ability to vote on things, that congressmen understand what needs to be done.
There's no other way to get rid of that vermin. I agree with you at Temple.
Why don't we just give people early retirement?
Unless you're going to sit up there and go with, because early retirement doesn't work.
No.
Unless you're willing to sit up there and go to drastic measures. And I agree with you that it's a drastic measure, and there are risks. I don't deny that there aren't risks. Right? The problem is right now is without taking that risk, there is no solution.
Yeah, but MC, wasn't this exactly what Project Veritas exposed? That these people thinking that you can't get rid
some of them, but the scale is much larger than you're going to be able to out with just Project Veritas.
Yeah, but it's the same basis. Is that this idea that there are people who are there and they're there for life, and no matter what you do, they effectively the oversight over these people and what they're getting up to is nominal, minimal, I should say, to say the least.
Well, no, and Cabby, I had a question earlier about Theresa May. Jensen said she's fucked no matter what. I want to ask you the question. If she just does a hard Brexit, will that save her political career? If she just fucking hits the button right now, could that save her political career?
No, she's fucked. No, she's done. No, she's totally done. I'm astonished she's lasted this long. I honestly thought that they would have dumped her before now. But I don't know. They're playing a very weird game, but that's because they don't want it to work. So that's the reason none of it makes any sense. Because if you were doing this in any other way, if you actually intended to win, at this, you wouldn't be doing any of the shit that they're doing. So this is, I'm telling you, treachery in our midst. It really is. So fuck Theresa May and everything that she's ever done. And anyway, she's a wizened old hag, and she has no investment in the future. She doesn't even have children. Just like Angela Merkel.
That's cruel.
It's true there.
But no, she was a Remainer anyway. You're asking her to do something that she doesn't even believe in. Is it a surprise she's not wholehearted in it?
She should never have been given. No, she should never have been
well,
given.
Well, it doesn't matter if she's wholehearted for it or not. She's an elected official. What she wants doesn't matter. What she wants, it's irrelevant.
Well, isn't that why we want folks that believe in things that we tend to actually hold dear? Because, I mean, a politician can say anything in the world if they want. I mean, dude, you work in sales, man. You can say anything to make it. You can tell anybody what they want to hear, but you should tell them what they need to hear.
No, I don't care.
That's why we need to bring back the guillotine.
I agree with that.
Care.
Hi, Felix.
I don't care. I don't care how they feel about it. It's the people's will is the people's will. Their personal choice has nothing to do with it. You don't get into leadership to do what you want. You get into leadership, especially in a representative republic, you get into leadership to do what others want. Period.
If this was medieval
a campaign is essentially a job interview.
Theresa May.
If I hire someone to do a job and they don't fucking do it, they're fired.
Yeah. And the thing is, so, well, you see, we got rid of Cameron, and they just replaced him with another one. And like I said, the intention is that they don't want to see this work. Otherwise, they wouldn't have put in the people. We wouldn't have the cabinet. We wouldn't have the people in power that we have if they really intended to make this work. We have a totally dysfunctional government to achieve the goal. It's and nobody's attempted to even try and make it work. It's like
she just directed. She has directed that she wants to prepare to leave the EU, and she directed the customs agents to start checking people or some shit. I don't remember exactly how the story went.
It's worse than that, Matt. Now the problem is that she wants to leave, but with a customs union. Now what we should do is hard Brexit with a WTO agreement, Okay, so we can trade. We can still continue trading. I mean, don't forget, right? It's not like when we leave that we are not complying with every single EU regulation, right? We already comply with everything that they need us to comply with. So unless they make some wacky little rule that we, you know, that we don't comply with, then we're perfectly
Article
capable of
13.
trading with them.
Yeah, I was going to choke on that.
Yeah,
one.
well,
Yep.
you know.
I show up and
So
MC
they-
leaves. I feel bad now. I'm hurt.
But no, yeah,
So-
Article 11 and 13. Yeah, that's something you guys are not going to comply with after you have a Brexit.
Yeah, but that's fine. But that will only apply to those particular industries. Well, no, technically we will, because we are still obliged to continue with certain things, like, you know, to agree to stuff. So I think there's still another 2 years after this whole fucking fiasco anyway. It's already been extended. It's like the never-ending story. That's why they're just hoping that people are going to get pissed off with it and to say, oh, for fuck's sake, just, you know, give up. But I hope we have more tenacity than that. But they're determined to fuck it up. That's for damn sure. If they didn't intend to, then they've done a hell of a fucking job of doing it. They took an opportunity and they managed to turn it into this clusterfuck.
But it's government. What do you expect government to do? Government is not something you trust to do anything right. Government's like a recalcitrant toddler. You have to grab their hands and make them do whatever you try to tell them to do.
Well, it also sounds like there's a lot of actually difficult issues. And I mean, if they were easy, you'd just be like, oh, they're easy. And there's also the argument that you just need to continue to make more work for yourself to justify your existence.
No, that's a stupid thing, though. It was easy, right? Like I said, people got to remember that we're leaving the EU. And at the moment, we're an EU member. We comply with every regulation, you know, more than the bloody French do, more than, you know, the Spanish do. We comply with everything. So when we leave, they can't claim that we are not, like, in any way violating, you know, the import requirements of this, that, and the other, because obviously we've been selling to them all of these times. So there is no reason that they would restrict us. Secondly, we can just go with the World Trade Organization agreements, which is what, you know, America uses to trade with Europe and, you know, China, whatever, you know, because they're not European Union members and they don't comply with the fucking all of these European regulations. So we're above and beyond anything that's coming in from any other WTO organization, because we literally comply with everything that they have. So it would be the simplest thing for us to just say, look, we're just going to carry on as normal. You want to make trouble, and we'll deal with it afterwards. You know, because at the end of the day, there is no reason that they would then say we won't trade with you unless they just wanted to be vindictive.
Well, yeah, it doesn't make
Anyway,
sense. The UK buys a lot of cars and stuff. Here's the thing. It's in neither party's self-interest. So it's like, all right, if you just walk away, then it's like, oh, we'd like some cars from Germany. Oh, we'd like to sell some cars to the UK. Let's come to an accord.
Mm-hmm. Which is exactly what we have
been doing. He's been playing hardball, but it's like when you're behind the most powerful economy in the world, you can do that stuff.
And the thing is, all of the contracts which exist between, you know, like say Mercedes and, you know, the dealers and things like that, all of those contracts and stuff, they're still going to exist after Europe. It's not like it cuts off those contracts and they have to be renegotiated.
That's a good point.
Don't, you know, so they're already going to be continued. So there is nothing. Theresa May has intended to fuck this up. This could have gone through very smoothly. And they've done everything they can to scupper it.
It sounds like people are just kind of pissed off.
I am. I can only speak for myself.
And the problem is, Cabby's always kind of mad. Or at least he always sounds kind of mad.
Well, no, in Cabbage, we were talking about if she actually...
Well, this is my country, for God's sake. This is the country that built an empire. Yeah, I am mad that we're being treated like we're some fucking third-rate backwater nation. Damn right I'm upset.
Well, I was just saying you always act mad, but okay.
But no,
as a member of a nation that you fuckers once considered a backwards, second-rate colony, you guys need your own version of the Boston Tea Party, dude. Say fuck them and go for it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, the French
Bring
used to
back the
burn out
guillotines and
tea.
purposely dull the blades.
No,
Well-
no, that's cruel and unusual. And to just go upon cabbage, I tried to help. I tried to get that Kickstarter going to send, what was it, 750 copies of 1984 to Parliament?
Yeah, well, you know, you come up with a lot of shit.
Well, it was
But
denied.
anyway, you know.
Seriously?
Well, yeah, I actually sent a super chat to Count Dankula telling him part of the idea to see if maybe he had more, but I that would complicate his legal implications and stuff, get more political. But yeah, it was supposed to be a meme of destruction. Just because somebody would take a picture of that stuff, and it's like, all right, you have 750 copies, one for each, along with a DVD, which unfortunately I could only find the American code, so I don't think it would play in their DVD players there. But I understand members of Parliament are very busy, so I gave them a DVD that might not work and a copy each.
Wait,
Yeah.
you can't. Okay,
Well-
this is just my own ignorance. I didn't know that you couldn't play an American movie on a British DVD player.
Oh
Different
yeah,
country
there's
code.
well, they're regionalized. Yeah, same thing with Chinese ones, or you know, the Far East. They're all regionalized. Although you can get non-regionalized players. It's down to the player. Whether and most of them, all you got to do is punch in a code, and it'll just release it anyway. So,
Well, I just
Learn something
kind
new
of
every day.
pointless.
I just checked Twitter on my phone, and this is kind of interesting. This is coming from the Virginia Flaggers. Victory in the capital of the Confederacy. Richmond City Council votes against the resolution to seek permission to tear down the monuments on Monument Avenue. So
Fuck yeah.
there's a victory for history right there. I just wanted to give that little tidbit out.
Yeah, well, the town voted on it. It's their call, right?
Well,
Still,
yeah, and
fuck the state of Virginia, though.
yeah, but we're talking about fucking Richmond. Like, you're gonna rip that. What are you gonna do? Tear down the Confederate White House next? I mean, seriously.
But MD, the sheer way you pitched that article, a win for the Confederacy, does that not elicit certain negative emotions in some folks?
That is how the Virginia Flaggers worded it. I read it verbatim.
What type of source is that? Do they have a particular leaning at all?
Yeah, they're aligned with the Sons of Confederate Veterans, and they have been purchasing land, property along the major highway there, and erecting gigantic Confederate flags. So yeah,
Hell
they
yeah.
kind of have a bias, I suppose.
Might some see that as a form of provocation?
Might some people be fucking morons?
No more provocation
So?
than people standing in front of the Capitol yelling Black Lives Matter.
I was gonna say, so
Well, they
what?
do.
Why does everything the right or the non-left compartment of the world, why do we all have to be non-aggressive and very submissive and passive with people that are being aggressive?
I think
Why?
the first thing is something that should apply to all folks, right?
But it's not being applied. So you're telling people that are being addressed by very aggressive people that are using law and government and physical violence to silence and attack them, you have to still be nice.
Yeah, but most people aren't murdering each other in the streets. These are certain
not-
politically
No, they're
charged events.
attacking people with fucking
One
bottles.
asshole.
James.
With what? What are they attacking people with?
They were fucking throwing bottles with M80s at fucking women in that fucking Berkeley protest. Don't act
And
like
old
nobody like
people.
they're all fucking innocent. Yeah, old
And they were
people.
aiming
Look at
for
fucking some of
old
the videos.
people.
They're beating the fuck out of these old sons of bitches just for waving an American flag or having a fucking veterans patch on their arm.
Well, if you're getting M80s thrown at you, those folks should be charged.
If you're
That's-
getting M80s
committing a
thrown at
crime.
you should pull a fucking gun out and plug the son of a bitch doing it.
Well, yeah, if somebody's attacking you and threatening your life, you have the right to defend yourself.
Exactly. There's a fucking difference, though, between
And
somebody
that
attacking
has
you and putting a fucking flag up, all right? Putting a flag up is not provocation unless you're a little bitch fucking retard.
Well, it's
If you got a problem with a fucking piece of dyed cloth, you're an idiot. Also, you live a pretty fucking good life if that's what's going to bother you.
well, and that's what I was gonna
No, I
say.
agree. Those are
Yes,
first
yeah.
world problems. We live in a first world country.
Yeah, you like the first world, don't you?
Yeah, no, what I'm saying is, yeah, could it be provocative to some people? Yeah. Is it initiating force? Is it like throwing a lit enemy at somebody? No. Yeah, somebody attacked a dude that was wearing a MAGA hat before, shortly after the election, and he shot that dude.
I know,
That
and I was
happened.
fucking proud.
Well, no, yeah,
Yeah,
but there
we
was
should be killing
also
Americans.
for that one case where somebody actually defended themselves. There's 10 where they got yanked out of their cars and the shit kicked out of them.
Yep.
Memes,
Or they
I
were
want to know why you're constantly saying, oh, we just need to get along. We just need to get along when they are the ones who are constantly starting the battle.
Well, because I believe in the principle of kings. A man should be
Don't.
charged by the content of their character, not by the color of their skin.
Okay.
And yeah, can't we all just get along?
No,
Oh,
we can't. You're
boy.
asking a silly rhetorical question that has a negative answer.
You do realize how that sounds. No, we can't.
You know,
get
we
along.
don't live in
Why?
utopia. We don't live in a utopian society, correct?
Yes,
You do
that
realize
that was a great game, and the undead Zerging was OP when it was originally out. Yes, I agree. We don't live in a
What
utopia,
the
but I
fuck
think
is that?
good enough.
Memes,
It was
you
an
live in
online
fucking
script-based
La
game
La
from the
Land. You
late
know
90s.
that.
Okay,
Yes.
it
I
doesn't.
do live in La La Land. It's trying to be a wonderful
He
place. I'm a
likes La
terrible
La.
human being.
Well, wait.
But yeah, I can hope.
Sure.
No,
you
dude,
can
it's
hope.
fine to hope, but to hope without work is fucking pointless. What are you doing to try to fucking bring both sides together, other than sitting here pissing people off by saying, well, you got to be nice to the assholes who've been throwing M80s at you?
Well, I haven't done much. I did go to the Patriots Day thing that Sargon went to with the Proud Boys and Boston Free Speech. I mean, I did go there to the open mic. I did have some words, but yeah, they were just words. They were
Oh
slightly
yeah, and
incoherent
you tell Jordan
after being up for
Peterson he's a
32
great
hours and
wizard.
sleeping in Newark Airport, coming back from Florida. But
Yeah.
hey, it is what it is. It's not
Yeah,
much.
yeah.
for
Look, you know what?
something,
Good
but-
fucking steps. Good job.
Yeah,
I'm proud of you.
but
You're doing
yeah,
No,
well.
I know, you're right, man. No, you're right. No, dude, like, I should do more. I should do more. If I'm going to say words on the internet and hide behind a Blue Eyes White Dragon meme, yeah, I should do more. You're absolutely right. I agree
Look,
with you.
talk as much as you fucking want, dude. This is America. I'm assuming you're an American. This is an American stream. We got freedom of speech.
I like this man. He uses very loud, abrasive language, but I think he's passionate and genuine.
Yes, Phoenix is a
Thank
wonderful
you.
guy. He's one of my
Yeah.
favorites.
But
Thank you,
also the
Emma,
idea
and
that,
thank you for the link.
You know,
Mhm.
you do all that shit, and then what do? Oh, I met Jordan Peterson, my little, faggy friend, and I used to tell him he's
I
a great
told
wizard.
No, I told him he was a
So,
pretty
I mean,
good wizard.
well,
And now he's a
whatever.
good wizard after my conversation. He had a
So-
gleam like a child in his eyes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I think
So,
this is the
this
first
is
time
what I mean.
anybody's
You
ever
see,
said I use
no, this is the
abrasive
point.
language.
I know.
You're fucking delusional, mate, because this is the whole
Yeah.
point. Even when you do something, what do you do with it? And that's the whole. You're just doing it for your own. It's not really for purpose.
But the problem is that, it was great when we could get along and have that civil discourse and, can't we all just go back? No, we can't. Because we're not there. You can't just keep trying to go back. You have to learn how to progress and move forward from what's happened. You have to look at what's happened, learn from it, and move forward. And I think that's the problem is we have a whole bunch of people that are going, wait, I just want to go back. I just want to go back. I just want to go back. You can't fucking go back. Time is linear, people. You can't rewind how life has already gone. There is no fucking respawn point. And everybody seems to be pushing for that instead of trying to learn and say, hey, this part worked. Why don't we take that piece, apply it to what's going on right now? Is it working? No. Okay. Let's see if we can find another piece and see if that works. Instead, it's,
Exactly.
oh, no.
Yeah.
Let's just go backwards. That's not going to fucking work.
Tama, that's what they used to call best practice. It's a silly old idea, right? It used
Oh,
to
I
work.
know.
But
Yeah.
I miss the 90s. I mean, the games were so good.
Well,
I miss
okay,
women not being allowed to vote, but you don't see me crying over spilt milk.
That's right. Hippity hoppity bitch.
God, we all need an ending of the suffrage of women campaign.
Yeah. I concur with memes on that one. But no, memes. How exactly is it confrontational to fly a historical flag in the capital of the Confederacy, which was Richmond, Virginia? It isn't
And
anymore.
why is it racist?
No. Here's the thing. I don't think I said that. That might be inferred by some folks. But no, I'll agree. Yeah. Do you have the right to do that? Yeah. But just because you have the right to do something doesn't mean you should always do it.
Well, what are you gonna do, memes? You're gonna come to my house and take my Confederate flags down?
Flying the
wait a
American
minute.
flag, flying the rebel flag. I'm not allowed to do that?
Did I say
we
that?
have
No, you have the
many-
right to.
But wait a minute. How is it?
Oh, I'm a good old
Yeah.
rebel. No, that's just what I am.
But the thing
For
is,
this
memes,
Yankee Nation, I do not give a damn. I'm
You
glad I
see,
fought
memes-
a Skinner. All right, I'll stop now.
Memes.
Yeah,
You see,
that's
the
one of my
problem is
favorite
with
songs.
you.
We're very
You see,
whimsical.
memes. The problem with you is memes. The problem with you is that you say that you got the right to do it, but then if a few people were around, you'd be so fucking spineless. They'll be like all the other people were saying, oh, that we find that offensive. Then you'd be one of the little liberals who goes in and says, oh well, maybe we ought to try and ask him to take it down then.
Well, no,
it's
and
offending others.
let's pivot a little bit. Cabbage. Isn't the St. Andrew's Cross now considered fucking racist? Or what?
Yeah, St. George's Cross has been
St.
for quite a while.
George's,
The
sorry.
Scottish can,
Look, memes,
I mean,
I
the
love
Scottish
you.
can
You take
still.
a lot of shit. You take a lot of shit.
Yeah, but
from us,
but
and
he
you
earns
keep
it.
coming
He
back
earns
for
it.
more.
Yeah, but he earns it. Yeah, he's
Yeah, no,
I'm
fair
not
enough. But
done
got,
yet.
got no self-respect.
Look, I'll respect
a
anybody who's
lot
willing
of
to stand in
stuff-
his pocket and trade. I apologize, ma'am.
Oh, no, we step on everybody here, so you don't have to apologize.
Well, it's free
I'm
speech.
trying to not be such a dick. Utopian society and all that.
Guys. Anyways, you step on, you take a lot of shit from us, and you keep coming back for more.
Well, yeah, because you have some.
A lot of the stuff that you get from us, you deserve because you play both sides.
Well, yeah.
No, he
who
doesn't.
cares?
Because he's only
Interests of
playing a
pussies.
game. He doesn't have an opinion. He doesn't have any side. He doesn't
do I?
have any substance.
Have you specifically
problem.
asked me on specific things, or is I'm just kind of trolling a
matter
little bit,
because
having a
what
little
you
bit
do-
of banter,
Yeah,
having a bit of
that's
fun
it.
with some folks,
But that's
like in a
all you
pub?
ever do. That's all you ever do. Yeah, but the difference is normally it's part of an exchange, but you're trying to do it to be a smart ass, right? And try to have your own
Well, that's a
private
contributing
joke and
factor,
your little
yes.
smug bullshit.
Am
yeah,
I
well, no, and that's
denying
the thing
any
that
of
makes
that?
it so fucking self-indulgent. No, you're
Because
not.
we have
No, but
fun,
that's
and
the whole
sometimes
point.
folks
No,
like to laugh with you and
invalidated
at
it.
you. Maybe we don't need to be so serious about certain words said on the internet.
Yeah, carry on if you think that that's a good strategy. Fine. You obviously don't know game theory. You'll be the first one against
No,
the
I'm
wall.
I'm a follower of gamer theory. We went over this earlier, Kevin.
Yeah, but you're obviously not a good one at it because you will be the first one against the wall because it's all the people who play these sort of games who think that they,
well, yeah, but
have smart
Cabby,
things and they won't. They'll come home to roost, my friend.
Cabby, I had asked you a question though. Why is that flag considered racist in the UK now?
To be honest with you, that's the hardest one I've found because I could understand the Union Jack because that would be colonial, but the Cross of St. George, I don't understand. It's because it's purely English in the same way as the Welsh have got their flag and the Scottish have got their flag. So it's bizarre. No, I think the real reason with the English Defence League, they always used to march with it, which obviously they would do because it's the English Defence League. And so that's when the media started, saying that it was a symbol of the neo-Nazis or something. I think that's how it started.
That was weird. I just got kicked for some reason.
No, you didn't get kicked, honey. Google's being a dick again.
Yeah,
right. That's what I know. That's what I meant. Google kicked me out of the call for some reason.
Yeah.
Well, and I just want to say hi to my beautiful wife who's in the chat. Yeah, I'm sucking up a little bit. I had to. Anyway.
It's my
Hello, Mrs.
beautiful
Productions.
rebel.
Anyway, I gotta go, guys. Thanks for having me on, man.
Hi, Emma.
take it
Thank
easy,
you
Emma.
again for the link.
No problem, sweetie.
When are you going to stream more? Damn it. I miss
This is
talking
gonna
with
be
you.
great. I can be the smartest woman in the group again.
I'll fill you in on all that in a little bit.
Tama's everywhere.
Not anymore.
Tell Street more.
Sorry, we love Tema. You be
Yeah,
safe.
no, I'll explain it all later, honey. It's a long story. So,
I do
yeah.
love Tema. She's amazing.
I love you guys too. So, I'll talk to you later. I'm gonna go figure out what we're cooking for dinner. So, bye, guys.
Bye.
All right. No, but yeah, I'm really tired of historical flags being considered racist. It's ridiculous.
Well, it is. I mean, especially, I mean, the English flag is. I mean, even if it was, you know, a particular group was using it, it's bigger than that little group that happens to be using it. It's irrelevant, you know.
Well, is it the Pepe principle?
Yeah, well, in the same sort of way, yeah, you know, like the idea that the Kyrgyzstani thing, and you know.
Well, no,
I mean, that's the way that, I mean, they are making it an equivalent of that kind of thing. That's how fucking retarded the whole process has gotten, you know. But like I said, you can put up a Welsh flag, nobody bothers you. You know, you can put up a Scottish flag, everyone's happy with that. Hell, you could probably stick up a Turkish flag and nobody would give a shit. But you stick up the cross of St. George, and all of a sudden there'll be a whole bunch of people go, he's a Nazi.
I don't even know, like, what's the deal with that? I don't understand. It was the flag of the country at one point, right?
No, it is. It's a flag of England.
Okay, what's wrong with that?
That's England's flag. Well, this is what we've just been talking about. Did you black out or something?
No, but like what is the problem? If it's the flag of the country, why can't you fly the flag of the country?
This is what we've just been talking about.
Didn't you just say that you can do what you want, but sometimes you shouldn't?
But yeah, that'd be like saying the U.S. flag. You can't like flag. Yeah, I think Joshua put in the
People
chat.
make the argument.
Doesn't that seem kind of like a silly argument, though?
Oh, it's
Well,
absolutely stupid.
What's even
Who's
more
giving
stupid?
that credence?
What's even more stupid are the same people that argue that the flag of the Army of Northern Virginia is racist. Are the same fucking idiots that if I hang my stars and bars outside, which is I think it's the second or third national Confederate flag for the country, I hang that outside, they think it's a Revolutionary War flag. They don't know history, yet they could dictate to me what's racist. Go fuck yourselves.
Damn right.
And I mean,
do you have
like,
children in the background?
probably me.
Oh, okay.
But no,
I'll say
I
nothing
mean,
again.
it's ridiculous. And like Cabbage not being able to fly his freaking English flag, that's even more ridiculous.
Oh, I can, and I do, and I will. And no, I don't give a shit that somebody takes offense to it. It's like, fine, well, you don't like it, just look away or fuck off.
Well, that's the thing. Like, it's fine. No, and I think most folks won't have a problem unless you're going around being a twat and trying to shove something down someone's throat.
Is having a historical monument protected in Richmond, shoving the monument down the person's throat? Do they have to go read the little placard? Do they have to go fucking see the monument? Or can they just walk past it and go on with their lives?
I think folks are just arguing about something, and then all of a sudden somebody's like, oh, here's something we can do. Somebody's organizing an event, so let's go through it because it's something to do.
Well, isn't it the offense idea? You know, this the offense lottery or whatever. You know, it's like who can take offense the most. So it's like, oh, I found something new I can take offense to. So then they make a big fuss about it. Oh,
I'm offended that
we
you
didn't
said
have a
that,
problem
Kevin.
with this. Well, you know, now we're going to have an offense war. I'm going to have to take offense to you being offended by me because I think that you triggered me. You didn't warn me that you were going to tell me that.
Well, you know what? Your trigger is triggering my trigger, and therefore we're in a cyclical triggering, the likes of which haven't been seen since 1987.
We're going to crash the internet.
Well, yes, and then the cycle continues perpetually. That's why I'm saying we need to break the meta, because we've been doing that for a while with social media that just accelerates the process of us just poking and jabbing and prodding at each other. And yeah, I get it. Yeah, folks can have some trolling and some good banter, but we're human beings, dude. We've developed over a long time, and normally we've had face-to-face interaction over the past 100 years. Yeah, we've had voice interaction where you can pick up on inflections and certain things like that. And now all of a sudden, hey, you got 160 to 240 characters. Of course we can pick up on every single human little inflection and everything that we've developed thousands of years. Oh, maybe that's the problem. I don't know.
For the record, I'm the same asshole whether I'm on the internet or I'm in person.
I agree, because I am a dick. It literally is my middle name.
Oh, I've literally been in the United States Capitol and stood out screaming, "It's time for guillotines."
Yeah, that's maybe not the smartest thing.
No. Why do you want a French product? No. Buy something. Make something new.
Look. Okay, I'm Black Irish cabbage. All right, which is Black Irish is French and Irish. So just as an ode to my heritage, I was like, you know what? Fuck it, bring back the guillotines.
Oh, hell, brother.
French are everywhere. You can't get rid of the fuckers.
I know Hitler tried, but we had to stop him.
You didn't stop him. What do you mean? You fucking rolled over. The British had to stop him. You fuckers just rolled over immediately. What was it? 2 weeks?
About the 2 weeks. Let it go.
2 weeks before he was walking around in Paris checking out the bloody Arc de Triomphe.
He moved very fast.
French. Yeah, and what do the French do about it? They move very slow. What are they doing? Having some croissants and some little baguette while they were sitting there in the cafe, wondering what the fuck was going on.
Wait a minute. Wasn't the British military involved in that as well?
We were, yeah. We were trying to help them out, and the fuckers wouldn't even do their own job, and we ended up having to leave in Dunkirk.
Cabbage, I did see Anthony Bourdain's visit of France, and if you had tapas all day long, you're maybe not going to be paying attention, but you know what? Hey, they got jumped.
What do you mean tapas? Tapas is Spain.
Okay, I'm sorry, I misnationed them again.
Watched.
You know what?
Spanish.
The French suck, but at least I can say this. Thank God for French hookers. Because they're the ones who come back. They're the ones who taught our boys over there a thing or two about some different kinds of sex, and we come back and we had fun, damn it.
Yeah, you came back with a few diseases too, didn't you? A lot of VD.
Hillary Clinton recently urged her fellow Democrats not to be so civil, in quotes, with Republicans.
What?
You know what? I'm not saying that this is linked to anyone indirectly, and this is not a threat to anybody. But does everybody understand the word guillotine now?
Yeah, everyone knows what a guillotine is.
You have clearly missed the joke.
The left feels the problem with their side is they're not making enough noise. They're not screaming at people, said Andrew Clavin. That's what they feel is the problem with the left. They're just too in control. They're just not shrill enough. They're not crazy enough. They're not violent enough. They're not nasty enough. And that is the problem with the left.
Is that a quote from an article, or is that your summary?
That is a quote from conservativefighters.com. It goes on to say, how have we missed it up until now? It's unbelievable. If they would just be a little bit louder and a little bit meaner, really get into the gutter. The problem is they're not accusing people of sexual molestation enough. They're just being too nice to everyone. That is the problem. That's why the left keeps losing.
So it's sarcasm, right? You didn't say, okay, so it's sarcastic. It's
what? What? Wait,
it should be a done deal by now.
What was the source there?
That was Andrew Clavin being sarcastic. Hillary Clinton, there's a video and everything, said that the Democrats are not being, or urged her fellow Democrats to not be so civil with Republicans.
Yeah. Any more uncivil, it's going to get real loud real fucking quick, because everybody here who shot a gun knows what a Ruger does.
Well, I know. It destroyed the top of my thumb the first time I fired it.
Who is it? Candace,
God, the earth cracked.
Whatever.
Until we win, we can't be civil. Until we win, we have to keep on with the screaming.
Candace Owens or whatever the fuck her name. They're not being civil at all to her. Fucking.
That's the conservative black chick, right?
Yeah.
And she was also one of the people who created that doxing fucking database and stuff like that, who then got red pilled apparently when it became, economically convenient.
No, she goes around with Charlie Kirk from Turning Points. Yeah. He added me before I added him. It seemed weird.
He's about as trustworthy as a rattlesnake.
What? I like Stone Cold.
Yeah, well. whatever.
Well, no, and Hillary Clinton.
Fucking hell, memes.
needs
Why
to
did you
just-
stop doing that shit? Seriously, you just sound like an autist.
Hillary Clinton needs to just retire from public life and go hide in Arkansas. All right.
You mean retire from life?
No, I drive through Arkansas sometimes, and I don't even want to run that risk. Send that bitch to Antarctica.
No, then she'll be down with the Nazis and the penguins.
Oh,
No, that's what Trump should do.
Doesn't mean you ship her there. No, she's not. No, it's cold. You need
No, Trump should hire. He should pull a fucking Barack Obama. Be like, you know what, Hillary? I'm gonna hire you. You're gonna be my new representative to Antarctica, and just leave the bitch.
the ambassador to Antarctica. Well, actually, there are people down there.
I mean, while
mostly
we're talking about Hillary Clinton, why don't we just say right here, right now, that none of us are feeling suicidal. So if we end up popping a couple rounds in the back.
If anyone disappears,
Yeah, I'm not suicidal. I've got kids to raise and school as I homeschool. So if I don't show up for a stream one day or show up on Discord one day.
And I don't have a tendency to walk down railroad tracks or anything like that. Okay.
Yeah,
I am not suicidal. There are too many guns I don't own yet.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
If I'm ever
that
found
makes-
hanging by an Ethernet cord, I definitely didn't tie that fucker around my neck. So,
Rebel, I will make sure to ask if you did, though.
but yeah, no. Yeah, if any of us show up with, 2 gunshots in the back of the head, we definitely didn't kill ourselves. All right, just saying.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was a bit
Hillary,
of a buzzkill.
Hillary wants to. Well, that was Seth Rich. That's what happened to him. But anyway,
Well, we don't know that. It was a.
Yeah, but that was out in a field, and there was no.
It was in
blood flow or anything as
DC.
well.
Dude, I actually pulled up the maps, and it was a rough part of town.
Wait, is this the one there the guy choked after dropping a dumbbell on his throat?
No, he was
No.
getting robbed, and then
Where
he
it
ended up getting
didn't
knocked.
fuck the larynx?
He got robbed, but they left all of his stuff, like his wallet and his watch. Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, to be fair, if you're going around sticking folks up, and most folks, if they see a gun, are just going to give you their wallet. If all of a sudden he started fighting back, and then it's like, I'm getting the fuck out of there, and you're startled, and you don't know how to handle a firearm, things can happen. And if you're like, shit, we killed him, you're getting the fuck out of there, man. You don't want to get caught. At least.
Well, what you do if you really don't want to get caught, you have to crack the skull open and dig the brains out, or dig the bullets out of the brain.
It was on
that way
camera.
they can't be traced back to you. Get on my
That
fucking
got
level,
dark.
boy.
That got dark.
Hey, all I know is from your previous statement, if you ever come up to Manch Vegas, we're going up to the firing line, going shooting together.
Oh fuck yeah! Wait,
Dude,
go.
I don't know.
Go out
I always
to
prefer
where?
renting New Hampshire.
Oh, fuck. I go through. I've gone through there a few times. I don't go there much. I'm on my way to Ohio.
yeah,
right
no,
now,
I live in Mass right now, so it's like basically it's nice to be able to rent an
I
MP5,
feel bad for
seeing
you.
as I know. I can get better.
well, no, and in the chat,
No, you can't.
in the
You keep
chat,
trying.
Jensen said, isn't that an incitement to violence or civil action is what he said, but I think he meant violence. Yeah, it kind of sounds like an incitement to violence or a call to action.
It's
What?
what Phoenix was just saying. It's
I have returned. I apologize. Google tried to peacefully sunset me, but I fought back.
Yeah, it's all right. Yeah, I think it's the codex and shit. It was happening to me a few weeks ago. But you do bring up a really grim point that probably will become a fact, and I hope not, because it's kind of like Muammar Gaddafi said. It's like, yeah, we're not Egypt. There was a revolution there, but he's like, yeah, we're Libyans. We have guns. It is a different situation. If all of a sudden folks are coming up into your face, it's like statistically, there are going to be a lot of folks that have firearms. It just, unfortunately, I think there are certain folks out there just looking for a fight. Some folks just want to see the world burn.
Well, the world consists of two different types of people. People who want to be left alone and people who don't want to leave them the fuck alone. You're one or the other. And the people who want to be left alone are most of the time the ones with the guns.
Yeah, absolutely. Just like my freaking neighbors can't leave me the fuck alone. I don't even talk to them. I don't even know half of their fucking names, but they go
Shoot
around
them.
talking about me. Shoot them.
No.
I don't think he wants to go to prison.
Hey, if they're on his property and he tells them to leave and they don't, he can pull that trigger and he will not go to prison.
Depends on the state.
Tiger Lily's reading that Hillary post that I put in Discord and read to you earlier. She says, it's not going to be civil, eh? They should be called Democrats.
Oh, that's an ad hoc.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's quite ridiculous. Hillary is just a bitter old fucking witch that needs some water thrown on her.
Yep.
Why? Are you wanting your ruby slippers, you big tranny?
Wait, what?
Yeah, that was a Wizard of Oz reference. Good job, Cabby. At least you caught it.
I didn't hear
No
what
throwing houses
anyone
at people.
said.
He said
I
throw
caught it,
water
I
onto Hillary Clinton, and I said, why, you want some ruby slippers, you big tranny?
Ah, clever.
It helps if you're not typing.
No, Cabbage, I think I solved the political discourse. The issue was we threw Trump Tower onto Hillary Clinton. So people are mad.
Well, the problem with that is Trump Tower is too well made. We couldn't actually get it up to throw on the bitch.
Well, that's
We
true.
need some shoddy houses that were made by fucking Johnny Depp for that.
Oh, burn.
Well, no, and I'm really
brain's
tired of the
going to
rhetoric coming
explode.
out of. I'm tired of the rhetoric coming from the left. They don't want to be civil anymore, memes, and I don't see how you can say they do want to be. Look at Hillary Clinton's own words.
Because most folks probably aren't necessarily reading Fight Conservative or Conservative Fighter, stuff like that. That seems like what some may say is a quote-unquote more fringe group. It's not like both houses, many houses would have fringe groups. Not like any family would have quote-unquote fringe family members. Dude, it's just no matter where we go, I end up, you replace a couple of nouns and adjectives, and I just hear the same things being argued. Not all the time, but just more often than it seems it's not.
You know, I'll give you that one, but the thing is the Republicans and the Democrats can say the exact same thing and have exact opposite meanings. You know, for instance, Kavanaugh is going to, they're possibly going to repeal the Roe v. Wade. Now that Kavanaugh is now that Kavanaugh is a justice. Now you hear me say that, I'm fucking excited. A liberal could say the exact same thing and they're going to be fucking angry. We can say the same shit and have different meanings.
Yeah, it's like a lot of stuff that's stirring the pot right now is like when President Trump goes on Twitter and he says things about certain folks, there are a lot of folks that are like, oh, I can't believe he said that. That just stirs certain things inside me that just go, ooh, I feel so good. And just, I feel a positive. Take that emotion you have and inverse it and turn it into a negative. And that's probably what a near equivalent amount of other folks feel in disgust.
Oh, for fuck's sake. That's like saying turn that frown upside down. Jesus. Can you
Is
be
it?
any more fucking fatuous?
I get what he's saying, Cabbage. I do. But I will say this. You know what? The president has the same freedom of speech rights as all the rest of us. If he wants to get on Twitter and be a dick, he has that fucking right.
Yep. Oh, and I didn't find the same exact like wordage of, you know, be loud, be violent, and whatnot. But even like CNN, it has a quote by her saying, "You cannot be civil with a political party that wants to destroy what you stand for." So, and not the same wordage, but you know, that is a different source, a more legitimate.
Did she say that?
Yes, it's a quote from her.
Is that a call for civil uprising or civil disobedience? That might be a call on active violence. This is very dangerous.
Yeah, and I'm saying it's not the same exact wordage that they found in the other article, but it's, you know, from CNN, which not really all that credible, but when it comes to, you know, Hillary Clinton, they're going to be all up in her shit. So, and
but is she still an attorney too? Because like if she's an attorney and she's saying that, that's I don't know. Does she still have a law license?
I don't believe so, but I don't think she lost it. I just think that since she hasn't practiced in so long, it probably expired.
Well, no, that's a very dangerous thing to start saying, because if there are acts of violence, she actually might be held liable.
Well, I don't know if that could actually be directly considered a call to violence, being that she didn't single out any direct target. I mean,
Civil
look, responsible and
depending
stupid.
on how she said it. I'll look it up. I'm sorry.
Yeah, like depending on like if it would have to be against a certain group, and while she said you cannot stand for a party, means that she never said which party or anything. It might actually be legally not getting her in trouble.
Inference, man. No, doesn't this go back to like, is having certain beliefs, is that like, or political ideology, is that like a protected group? I mean, if it's starting to flirt with like kind of religious tendencies in a way, like, I don't know, is it? Should it?
I'm a firm believer. You have the right to say whatever the fuck you want to say as long as you don't directly endanger anybody.
Oh, we lost Dodge.
I mean,
I see USA Today has put cannot be civil. That could be construed as a call to violence by some. So if something happens, I mean, I don't know.
Well, and it could be, but anything can technically be construed as something if you want it to be. For instance, say something totally benign.
Totally
benign. Well, no, this seems like an escalation. No, actually, could this be strategic in a way? And the reason why I say that, not that I'm condoning fucking violence, but it's just like Donald Trump was recently found, I believe, not to have incited violence when he's like, back in my day, we used to rough those fucks up. And he said, I pay for the medical bills. I'll pay for the bills. And then a dude got socked in the face.
Legal
bills. And that ended up getting dismissed. Yeah, the legal bills, but he said back in my day, we'd rough them up. That kind of sounds like a call to violence, because, I mean, seems like a proportionate response to that.
Oh,
it's kind of like an escalation of force.
No, that's bullshit. No. The guy's just saying that back in my day, this is what used to happen to a certain bunch of people. It's not incitement to violence. If he wasn't saying...
You're in a arena with 10,000 people?
Look, the idea that you're going to say that, no, of course, and that wouldn't stand up in court, which is why nothing happened, because it's bullshit. It's just a false claim. It's like, well,
they also made up. They also made up after the fact.
No. Unless you're going to... No, bullshit means unless you want to start charging people with fucking thought crimes, because that means that you have to know what he was thinking when he expressed it.
Well, here's a good
what
example.
His intention was. Fuck off.
Here's a good example. All right.
I swear to God, you're the worst kind of socialist.
Back in the day, when like somebody like Cabbage and Memes had an issue, they'd go outside, they beat the shit out of each other, shake hands, and that'd be the end of it. And like
lost, bought a first round of beer.
Yeah, am I
exactly
inciting violence by saying that? No, it's so like it is contextual of the two, like how they say it and what they kind of mean behind it.
Yeah, and the thing is, the person who won doesn't actually win anything. It's just the fact that you just let out.
It was an example, Cabbage.
No, but I mean, but I'm saying no. I mean, I'm saying
you don't need to fight. They can banter. Sometimes it leads to fights between certain folks. Yeah, but back in the day, you know what, you got over yourself, and then you fucking went and had another fight.
At the end of the day, you still got, yeah, but the idea that you lost, therefore you agree with the other person, doesn't, that doesn't add up, and that's not the same thing. It's just like, okay, fair enough, we went too far, let's go and,
right,
do it again tomorrow.
It was never an issue of whoever won was right. It was just getting that anger out. Exactly. Because, and something that we've definitely lost in this day and age that I miss is people used to be okay with people not agreeing with them. You can have your own opinion. Not my opinion is my opinion. We can argue about it. We might fight about it. But at the end of the day, you still had the right to believe what you believed, and I had the right to believe what I believed. We've lost that. Now people get fucking really pissed off and violent if you don't completely believe what they believe. And that's what we've lost. And that's fucking the root of all this shit, I think.
Well, yeah, you got a lot of frustrations, which is why you've got much more mass shootings. Because the mass shootings are going to increase relative to the frustrations which people have withheld. Because normally those would have been dispelled in a pub car park somewhere. They wouldn't be so pissy. But everyone's sitting around just getting more and more frustrated.
Cabbage.
It's like a pressure cooker, and it goes boom.
I completely disagree with that because, well, not
really.
Shootings have actually been going down since gun ownership increased.
And you also have to look at you have to look at the fact of how many people are on psychotropic fucking drugs. That
well, yes, well, I also think that that's suppressing people's natural, natural will and natural, cognitive capacity.
But if you look at gun ownership, by and large, it has steadily increased. And with the steady increase, it also, the gun violence numbers, if you look at from the 90s to today, there is a huge fucking difference. Where
but I wasn't talking about gun violence. I was talking about mass shootings. Where you just get these people who go fucking postal.
Well, here's the thing, dude. In America, mass shootings can be defined as 3 people getting shot with a BB gun. And that's actually true. I'm not fucking with you on that. If 3 people get shot with a BB gun or any kind of gang-style shootings, Bloods versus the Crips, they pull out a gun and start blasting, that's considered a mass shooting. Anytime there's 3 or more people involved.
So that means that there's a mass shooting every day in Chicago.
Essentially, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and the statistics on gun violence are just complete horse shit because those include suicides. Yeah. And if you take out the suicides in it, then fucking that number drops by 2/3.
But how does that get classified as violence? Gun violence, the fact you shoot yourself. I mean, that's
because they want to make gun ownership look like a bad thing. Like straight up, that's it.
You want to see something really fucking interesting? Look at the CDC study about guns actually saving people.
It's like over 3 million a year, isn't it?
It's the closest number that they could get that as a raw number was somewhere around 750,000 people's lives were saved per year by guns, but the estimate could go as high as 3 million.
Fuck. I guess I just wanted to be hopeful for the high number.
And here's the thing about it too: it's not even instances that the gun was used. A lot of
you can pull your shirt up and show your gun, and fucking most people are going to run off.
Yeah, it was brandishing the weapon that deterred the crime, and this is why I'm a huge fucking fan of open carry versus concealed. Where
Arizona, baby, constitutional open and concealed carry.
Fucking that's how we have it out here in Kentucky. We have open carry. I fucking love it. And same thing with Wisconsin. When I used to live up in Wisconsin, I had open carry all the time. And people would ask me why. I said, well, think about it. If you have 3 or 4 people in a gas station, they're sitting there, they're getting their cigarettes, buying their gas, doing whatever they do. And some jackass comes in there to rob the place. They see somebody with, people with firearms all sitting there on their hip. Are they really going to rob it? No. They're going to rethink.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, and I've had to explain that to people because, look, just because Arizona's a big gun state, not everybody carries a gun. That's fine. That's their fucking right. And I carry mine on my hip. And I've actually had people come to me like, why do you carry your gun out? And I say, it's discouragement. They're like, well, what do you mean by that? And I tell them, look, people, if I have a gun, if I got a $2,000 gold chain around my necklace, like people know that I got money and they're going to want it. This gun on my hip is telling them they can't have it. I'm saving somebody's life by having this gun out on my hip.
Well, and let's be honest here, because for handguns, open carry, awesome, great. But
if you're that jackass carrying an AR-15 and Denny's, fuck off.
Yeah, that's where I draw the line.
Hunting season, fuck off.
Even then, you can still have your fucking weapon in your vehicle. You don't need to bring it inside. You're just sitting there to try fucking provoke people and, oh, well, here I am with my firearm. Let's have a conversation. No.
Yeah, you're an idiot if you're doing that.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I will say this, and the reason why I brought up hunting season is because I used to live up in Oregon. Now, in Oregon, you buy your tag, and you don't have to draw. You actually just buy it, and then you can pretty much hunt anywhere around where you're at. Well, I didn't have a vehicle at the time, so before sunup every morning, I was walking through town with my 300 on my shoulder, and then at the end of the day, I was walking back. So, if you have your gun on you, long rifle on you in public, and it's during hunting season, I get it. But, yeah, if you're just going into Denny's, you're a fucking idiot. If you drove there and you're still carrying your rifle,
or the just trying to fucking show off. Go into Target and fucking walk around with them. Really? Yeah. Don't be a jackass.
It's like, do you have the right to do it? Absolutely. But should you do it? No. It's like, I always tell people this. And whenever this argument comes up, I say, do you have a right to put a condom machine in a rape crisis center? Absolutely. Should you do it? Absolutely not. And that seems to work pretty well for convincing people.
Well, yeah, and you could also just have a gun rack in your vehicle and leave your rifle in there, lock up your car and everything.
Exactly.
Yeah, and if some asshole tries to break into your car and steal your fucking rifle, well,
that's why you have a pistol.
Place. Yeah, yeah. But anything else, guys? I'm going over 2.5 hours now, and the viewership's starting to dwindle a little bit, so we could take this off air if you guys don't have anything else you want to discuss.
America is the greatest country that there's ever been. Fuck you, I'll fight me if you disagree. I'll fight you if you disagree. Fuck, I fucked that up.
I don't disagree.
Cabby would disagree.
I couldn't hit a woman.
Well, yeah, but obviously because we are the birth of the place, so
You guys need your own Boston Tea Party cabins. I'm trying to tell you.
I know, mate. Well, I've been saying it for ages. Mad Dodge knows this.
Like I said in the chat earlier, Britain needs a 1776 themselves from themselves.
We don't. No,
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, but it's just like, we did the previous times with the, the Peasants' Revolt and the Toll Puddle Martyrs and, cutting the head off a king if we have to. I mean, we've done it before. We can do it again.
All right, Ace of Skulls, you want to show your channel?
Yeah, I got a channel, but I don't really do much on it. I mean, I'll drop the link in the chat if anybody wants to come check it out. I'll randomly do some drunken streams here and there.
Usually the most fun.
All right, well, that's about it then. Thank you very much. Good night, good luck, and don't fucking move to France. We're out of here. Talk to you guys tomorrow.